I don't appreciate that. It seems like my screen
Deep, I
capture
like
is
your
all
zip
messed
up.
up. There it is.
What's it there?
I said I like your zip up, your shirt or whatever you call that.
Thank you.
Discord.
I'm liking your attitude, Daryl.
What'd you say, Deep?
I'm liking your attitude.
Thanks.
Wait, why
Complimenting
is the
everybody.
I'm
Discord all
liking all
fucked
these
up?
platitudes.
Starting off strong tonight. Oh, there we go. Okay, I was freaking out. All of my displays were all screwed up since the last time last time we got together. Okay, it's been a second. Welcome back to Misery Town.
Oh no.
I'm your
Trust me, I've been through worse.
yeah, I bet, me too. No, okay, so we find the party outside the lair. You all sort of regrouped. You have a number of items on the docket here, depending on kind of what you want to prioritize first, but everyone's still pretty exhausted from the effort breaking into that stronghold and just trashing all of the master's minions. The last thing I think you saw or that happened was everyone's in the game, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a bunch of messages in the chat thing. We can sort that out in a second. Last thing that happened was you all kind of regrouped at the cart with all of your horses and stuff. Started talking about, where the next destination was, what the immediate kind of like plans would be. There was an odd crow perched atop of the wagon when you got there, but it pretty much just like crowed at you and flew off to the north. Other than that, that is where we find ourselves here. We can go ahead. I mean, I assume basically that y'all just kind of like went to sleep for the night or whatever. Took a rest, did whatever you wanted to. But if you want to like pick up from that point, however you want, that's where we're at.
I figured if we're gonna rest, we'll be setting up camp because we definitely all need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about
Yeah.
possibly burying
Genrick's
Genrick's
companion.
yeah.
Right.
Sorry, that was a long thought about not saying Gendrick.
Yeah, I knew it was. I knew it was about that too.
Was it
We've
Genrick's
really-
friend?
Yeah, we've really done something to ourselves here. Yes, Genrick's druid friend, whose name is Trass. I believe I mentioned before, but Matt's the one I think kind of like handling the body at the moment, and Matt opted not to tell Genrick that the skull of Trass feels light, much like the victim of the what's it called? Intellect Devourer from last time. You also have a captive acolyte, along with your 3 new companions, Atherd, Lawrence, and everyone's favorite Freddy. You're running out of horses and space in the cart.
They got legs.
They do have legs. So yeah, do you all essentially just kind of like post up and just set up camp that night, like immediately? Because I mean, you guys got done like what, 12 noon?
I mean, yeah, we got fucked up. We expended our. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we're
came
gonna.
pretty close to dying.
essentially set up camp.
Hmm.
Cool. um, as you all sort of fortify your area, pick kind of a naturally defended section of the forest that gives you a good vantage point to kind of safely hole up. You can tell that Ginrick's usual sort of kind of like demeanor has reverted again to like a very disheartened, very dejected, and even grim attitude after discovering Trass's corpse.
I want to. I'll sit near Genrick once everyone once we've pulled to the side and everyone's doing their own jobs, getting the camp set up and whatnot, and I'll see him looking dejected. I'll go and I'll sit by him. I don't say anything at first.
He notices you come and sit with him and just continues to kind of like do his thing where he's setting up sort of the camp fire and getting all the cooking stuff ready for the because there's a big party now to feed everybody. Off the
After some time sitting there quietly, I'll ask him, what was the name of your benefactor who you were working with, gathering information about this land before we arrived?
You mean the last time? He says.
Yeah, I also wasn't there some other man that we met with before we crossed the barrier who was kind of assisting him? He seemed like
Yes.
sort of like a like his master kind of thing, if I may
Yeah.
not be.
You're right.
Is that right?
Yes, that is right. And
Cool.
there did seem to be a sort of tenuous relationship. Adib is getting booted and reconnected and booted and reconnected.
I can't do anything.
Yeah, when we get a second in between scenes, we'll help figure something out. But yes, you're right. He did seem to have sort of a tenuous working relationship with a mage whose name was Vivarin, and he when he says that, I mean he clarifies too. It was the same mage both times. He
So
went back to Vivarin to get help for his return journey.
what is this Vivarin's relation to this place?
He's a scholar. His field of magical study. I mean, this sort of was a pet project for him because it doesn't garner a ton of respect and accolades to devote your life's research to myths and unproven sort of conjecture. But
Cryptozoology.
yeah, yes. um, but he believed in it, and I kind of was assisting him with his research and fact gathering on the down low.
So he's been the greatest repository of information about this place for you.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Did he ever describe the effect being in a place like this could have on a person's body and mind? Did he ever describe anything of that nature?
He like thinks on it. He's like, not at all. I'm not sure we even came close to the topic. Mostly the research was involved with kind of deciphering sort of the magics involved at the boundary and figuring out how to get on the other side of that. I mean, much
But he
past
had
that, it was
no-
pure conjecture.
But he had no personal experience with the place first.
Not that I'm aware of. Though your line of questioning sort of like makes him suspicious. You can tell that like he's also sort of like he sees what you're getting at. Like
You're an intelligent man, and I can tell, hopefully you can as well, that you are being addled by this place. I believe you to be being addled by this place. Perhaps it is the trauma uh, that is getting through. I think it may be a bit of both. Just something you need to remain aware, cognizant of.
Yeah, he nods and there's like a pause where he doesn't say anything. He kind of just turns to you and he asks, "How long have we been here?"
Days, maybe a week.
And he just kind of like gets a feel for it. Like, okay, because I'm having a hard time telling.
Feel free to ask me for clarification at any time.
Yeah.
Julia's definitely been keeping track of days in the journaling.
Mm-hmm. I assume.
Was I accurate in my days?
Yes.
About a
Yes.
week.
I think it. I mean, we could even go to the. We could reverse.
I say Julia has. I have not. I've been
Yeah.
keeping session logs, but I don't say. And then we go to bed in my logs.
Yeah.
You've actually probably been here a total of 4 to 5 days.
Yeah. Maybe a week.
Mm-hmm.
Say to him.
Is Craig back?
Oh, Craig.
No,
Oh,
I
Craig.
started playing music.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I wish Craig would decide whether or not they wanted to record our session. That would be swell.
It's recording still right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't eject. Incredible.
No.
They're here.
Yeah.
Craig's vibing.
Awesome.
Yeah, all good.
So yes, I just wanted to see if there was any corroboration to be had with the effects that this place apparently has on some people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen these symptoms in myself, Julia, Matt, Fox, or Fenry, but these others and yourself, it has me. It worries me. I do not know how it may affect you all further.
Yeah, you
You're the last one that I worry about. These others, I'm beginning to agree with your previous assessments that we should have never brought them on in the first place.
he kind of grins, but you can tell it's sort of like he's not like, it's not funny. It's just sort of like a grim amusement. It's like, yeah, maybe so, but now they're kind of like here, you know. But yeah, he appreciates your concern. He's like, yeah, I'm not all here right now. I time is difficult to track.
For a moment, if you will, Kendrick, if you were all here right now, hypothetically, what would our next move be?
He looks over to where Trass's body is being temporarily held and what's the word I'm looking for? Not
State.
embalmed or whatever, but you know, just kind of
Laying in state.
yeah, exactly. And he says, "Well, I want to bury my friend."
It will happen. And Azrael will stand up and go for a shovel.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
already probably. I imagine Julia is like getting this like, this like a grave dug and
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
that. Especially
I'll
since this is a
conversation.
druid, I'm like very like. I feel a certain attachment to this
He-
person of like to a degree that like doesn't really matter what this person was about, but they follow the same kind of way of life that I do. So I take it important. I feel it's important to return them to the earth. So I'm probably already digging something or preparing a death mask and all that kind of shit.
When
help.
when you start to literally physically make preparations to dig a grave or whatever, he kind of like interjects a little bit. He's like, I think they would prefer to be buried by the water.
By the what?
By the water. Sorry, bubble in my throat.
Oh, well, okay. Like
Very
there's a
well.
stream nearby, right?
Yeah. There's
Yeah, okay. I'll start
just
digging
south
over
is
there.
is where y'all encountered those toads or whatever, and there was a body of water there.
The fucking the fucking toads. Okay, we can do it there then. I guess we make camp over there then. We can just like.
Can you
do
show us
it.
the world map?
Yes.
Is this like nearby, or do we have to like travel to get there?
Well, I mean, there was the water flowing from the
Mhm.
base that we were at. So I assume that that stream continues out somewhere.
That
Yeah, that's what I was
stream,
thinking.
should you follow it, and you noticed the other way around too, that stream does sort of connect. It does feed into that pond eventually. Um. So yes, that kind of like I guess I could probably draw it on the map, but it would look really ugly right now. So we'll do it later. But if you were to follow that, you would eventually come to a body of water for sure, because you've already done it once.
Oh, okay, so he wants to be buried like by a not just this little dinky stream, but by like a body of water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we'll just have to move camp over there or something.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
That works. He says it can wait, like if we need to finish resting
No,
first, but
It will happen now.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's just go ahead and get there, and we'll do this, and then we'll rest.
okay. In that case, he stops, like kind of like setting out all his stuff, and he yells at the at the noobs, and he's like, "Hey, everyone, get your shit. We're gonna move camp." And he starts packing his stuff up quickly. Luckily, nobody had spent, no one had made too much progress, but you guys all pack all your stuff into the carts, and Atherd and Lawrence, and there's there's room for one more in the cart. There is still that horse that two
Everyone
people
out.
can ride. Yeah.
Everyone out. I get to the cart and I say, everyone out. And anyone who's not part of the main party, get out.
Mm. Freddy's like, "Mate,
We are going 10 minutes east. Get out. You can walk.
it is further than 10 minutes, but they accept your authority here."
I'm if if there being room is going to be a problem, I will make it not a problem.
No, it's not an issue. They can definitely walk, and there is at least one horse that can carry some number of them. Because
Fenrir, would you like to ride this horse?
Yes, aren't Thenry and Julia? Aren't we gonna like drive?
Oh, that's right. Yellow driver.
mm-hmm.
What about Fox? Does Fox like riding horses?
I think Fox is more of a inside the wagon kind
Oh
of
yeah,
guy.
come on in. On in. You and I will travel in comfort.
It'll just be the three of y'all and a corpse, and then Matt has
Oh
has a
yeah,
horse.
this is a hearse right now. We've got to put the body inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fox doesn't mind riding with the body.
Is there anything you all want to do to kind of like make preparation? Like, I guess we can just say that happens. Like, you make
Yeah,
some sort
like
of
we get
container carrier to secure it, like a makeshift sort of box.
Yeah, I probably wrapped it up, and like I said, I guess before I got to the digging, I was like wrapping the body up and
death
like
mask. Mhm.
preparing a death mask for it and all that.
It is ceremonially laid out in all of the best space you could make for it in the back of the cart and the wagon, and everybody else is either walking behind the wagon or on horseback. And you all depart to the south.
If any
in
of
search
the
for a
other
body of
dudes
water.
like start chatting amongst themselves, I will give them pointed glares from the carriage window that their speaking is most inappropriate during the procession.
Naturally, you can imagine Freddy mumbles things to himself from time to time, but after your intervention, the first time even, it's a sharp silence from him from the rest of the day. You spend the next half of the day, because it was about noonish, making your way south, and eventually, near the end of the day, you find yourself back at that very same large marshy pond that you crossed just a couple days ago, or maybe even yesterday. It's sort of lit in the eclipsed moonlight. And it has a calm on the surface of the water.
I will, as we arrive, and everyone starts gathering around, I will ask Genrick to describe the man.
Uh, you mean like for the burial? One second.
Yeah, yeah. Describe him to me. Describe his. Thank you. You know that reference.
uh,
Describe it to
it's
me.
it's
Yeah,
one of my
describe
very
him.
favorite scenes from that show. Um, yeah, when you all come up to the lake and you pull you pull the wagon around and everybody sort of like takes an informal but very respectful kind of position on the edge of the water. I suppose a few of you begin to pick out like a place to bury the body, and he's just you notice Genrick doesn't even can't even bring himself to kind of look at his friend, and he begins to reminisce and recollect on their journeys and describes Trass as somebody who was a simple enough and a person and a kind heart who only really cared to like foster um environments of growth and healing, and that their primary goal even in coming here was an interest in learning how to heal some of the more sun wrecked biomes and ecologies in their own world. um and he just regards it as ultimately a waste and a tragedy that somebody who had those priorities could have just died pointlessly here in the middle of this like nowhere land.
And while he's describing the man, I will be using the cantrip Shape Water to pull up as best as I can an approximation of the man's face, uh, smiling in the water's surface.
Mm-hmm. You notice that this touches Genrick, and little small tears begin forming at the corner of his eyes, but he kind of warmly regards his friend, and expresses regret for having ever led them to this place. You can tell he very much blames himself.
I don't say this out loud, but Azaram thinks, "Will you let us here?"
Yeah. You suspect that a similar thought is probably already in his head.
Yeah.
Julia and Azaram and Matt, I suppose, are the primary people that have kind of offered their faculties to helping bury Trass.
I
Mhm.
I ask Indra, what faith did this person belong to? If they would prefer a traditional funeral, or
He shakes his head and says, "No,
Oh.
this is what they would have wanted.
I don't know.
They had a very intuitive relationship
No.
with the natural forces and the spirits and magics within the natural flows, and this would have been enough. Their worship of the nature deities was their own in private, so just from traveling with them, this is the sense of kind of the sort of burial that he knows would have been appropriate. As you all lower the body into the grave you've made and pack the dirt, the night has an eerie calm, but less oppressive or even less alienating sense in the atmosphere than what kind of generally persists here. Though the scene is tragic, there is sort of a warmth and a community present that staves it off, if just for a few moments. Other than that, the procession is simple and short, and Ginrick kind of just begins once it's over, setting up in as minimal way as possible, and spends his time sort of gazing out over the lake near the place where his friend was buried.
Once it's all sort of come to its close and said and done, Genrick starts to. When he turns to walk away, I'll put a hand on his shoulder and say, "Endure, and in enduring, grow strong."
He puts his hand on your hand and he nods. You can tell that he's pretty much got no more words today.
Yeah, exactly. I leave
Mhm.
him. I planned on leaving him the rest of the night. And with
That
I'm
said,
gonna go to the restroom real quick.
yeah, that said, you can all certainly set up camp or kind of like tend to some downtime activities. The next 24 hours will be spent in a long rest. I assume, unless you just want to do a short rest and get on the road, but this is
Oh,
pretty much,
Long would be good.
long rest, please.
yeah, I assumed. Thinnery, especially because Nim tends to hang out with either you or Ginrick, you notice that Nim has been kind of like floating around Ginrick most of the time. Just
Making him feel
being some sort of companion, yeah.
I love Nam.
Let us click. Long rest?
Yeah, so for a downtime thing, I'll probably keep studying that poisoner's kit.
Uh-huh.
I'll learn it one day. What do I roll for that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just make an intelligence check. I think we
Oh,
did
that's
last
right,
time.
that's why I'm so bad at it.
It's one of those things. It's literally just a progress meter I'm tracking. You've been at it for like even a week or so now, right?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I've had a couple of long rests. Oh, did it not take? Oh, that's a bummer. I rolled an 18, but then it disappeared.
I believe you.
I can second that.
As
I
you
almost knocked over my glass of wine on my desk.
uh-oh.
It was terrifying.
As you you go over all of the materials and sort of the notes and things that you've been taking on, like taking inventory and how to handle these things, and the rudimentary instructions that you have for actually doing it. And you do think you're getting a hang of how to kind of mix these reagents and keep the parts of the poison that need to be preserved adequately preserved without cross-contaminating them with other things. And you're figuring out kind of how the antidotes and counter measures to these poisons that you're learning to administer and things. You do feel like you're getting a solid grasp of it going forward.
Nice. My brain's getting bigger.
Big brain.
Someone else has a thing they're learning.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ian.
I'm trying to remember which, because I have a couple things that I want to learn. I'm trying to remember if it's the thieves' tools or
There was a leatherworking kit or something.
that's what I'm working on. Is the leather
That's
leather
right.
working.
That's right. Yeah, go for it.
Just
Feel like
immediately shoot a bone awl through your hand.
Oh no.
You pull out your leather working materials that you've been working on small projects with to get used to, and you're like, all right, time to finish up that wallet, and you pull it all out, and it just all like peels apart like a yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna. I had a really disgusting analogy about peeling apart a sandwich, but it was,
I love that it's a wallet. Like we have like paper money and cards.
I
Cards.
it was the simplest thing I could even think of, like leather-wise, but you're right, it totally doesn't make any sense. Some sort of pouch or skin that you were working on, you were putting together with this patchwork leather stuff, but it just kind of, it comes apart and you're like, oh, alright. you just get back to working at it, and you kind of identify the previous mistake you'd made.
You see how much progress Finry's making on her new thing, and you're like, yeah, I got this. Fuck.
I love the idea that it's a wallet, and I just look over. I'm like, "What the fuck are you making?" And then it like disintegrates.
Yeah, we don't have cards. Again,
And
yet.
it just disintegrates, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start passing out like flagons of the booze that we still have.
We don't even
It's
have.
been a hard day.
We don't even have paper money.
You don't even have paper money.
I don't even have paper money in real life. It's all digital.
Yeah, you're right.
All fake.
The more things change.
Yeah, I want to like pass out drinks to everybody and kind of check where the beer's at, like how much do we have left and all that. Because I don't really want to work on more beer until we're out. I guess I should.
I guess that's not really, you want it there when we're out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Exactly,
don't
so-
want to be out, yeah.
Yeah, so I should work on another brew, but it's not like we have space for another cask. So it really comes down to adding more mixture into it to like get the same brew like in a cycle.
Well, we may be straying away from the ale part, but I've got plenty of thatch berries.
That's true. We are working on thatchberry wine, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like,
I
I'm
want to say
not.
Finry helped start some Thatchberry wine like
Yeah.
ages and ages ago.
She did, but she has no brew
If-
experience. So
If by
what is
ages ago you mean maybe a week,
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe a week. I meant IRL ages ago.
maybe in this fantasy world things ferment much more quickly.
Well, there were some weird anomalies with the brews when you cross the boundary was one thing.
Yeah.
They
But
were
if you
further
wanna
along
use-
than they should have been by a lot.
Finry offers the like half bottle of Thatchberry wine that she's been creating to Julia if they want to use it as a starter or something. I'm sure it's microbial.
True. It's I don't know. I guess I'll ask Azra. I'm like, hey, can I get some thatch berries to like kind of get a whole bottle ready?
But of course, what else are they for? And I will pull off as many berries as is healthy for the plant.
Okay. I'll use that and some water, and like as I pour out some of this booze, I imagine like I can maybe scoop out some of the like yeast that comes out or something and kind of use that as like something to work with.
Hey, if that's how it works, then that's how it works.
It is.
I'm out of my
You
depth.
wouldn't you wouldn't use like a stout yeast for a wine, but this is fantasy land, and you gotta make
You're making
you gotta make
moonshine.
do.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
there.
country folk make do.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
no. I
We're
can
not
see the
here
image.
to play fantasy microbrewery.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You
It's just gonna be unique. It's gonna be
Yeah.
It's gonna be a dwarven yeast used in a thatchberry wine. It's gonna be something new.
Hell
yeah, and it won't be done tonight, but eventually it will be something.
Want
when
me
you
to
start-
roll something?
Yes. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Roll tool proficiency for brewing if that's a thing.
That's I guess what I'm learning is tool proficiency. Like where am I at with that from the time I never really recorded it
Yeah, we
when
need to talk about
when
those
the dwarves
mechanics.
showed me how to make beer.
how
I'm
does this work?
basically just like I have a DC, and it's just like once y'all hit enough successes on the track, it's you've mastered
You
it.
gain your
Yeah.
proficiency bonus while using those tools.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I roll right now?
just roll a D20 for like an intelligence check.
So, well, it would be a d20 like. Oh yeah. That makes
Mhm.
sense. That makes sense. In the
Int-
future, you would just use the proficiency bonus using the tools, right? Or
Yeah.
would you...
Yeah. Once you gain the proficiency, you just I'm asking basically when I have y'all roll this. I'm not having you roll to see like how well you do. I'm having you roll to see how much you learn to master
Gotcha,
the
gotcha.
proficiency. Yeah.
Got
So,
a
yeah.
7.
Especially because you're doing something new and experimental and unforeseen. You don't know what's gonna come of this brew here, but you feel as though it's definitely going to kind of like you just have this moment as a brewer. It's kind of like you have like a flash of insight, like something about what you're doing right now is going to be your like mark, like your stamp, your brand.
I don't know what this is, but it's genius.
Yeah, something
I don't know
in
if it's
this
gonna
will
be
become
good,
my
but it's gonna be
signature.
me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Regardless of
the
how
sense
good
you
it
get.
is, it's my signature thing.
Yeah.
Cool. I returned the bottle to Thenry, and I'm like, can you keep this in a dark place? And I giggle because it's dark all the time.
um
And then I just kind of start chatting with Thenry about what she's learning about poison, because I'm also into that. But I'm gonna wait
Yeah.
till I figure out brewing tools before we teach each other our skills.
Definitely. She's super excited to talk about it with you since you like helped get the kit for the team anyway.
mhm.
So
I'm gonna.
We're both just really playing with poison, really.
Yeah.
yeah.
Somebody
And the last thing I mumble is like, I wonder if I should have put mushrooms in.
I'm gonna look
um
for Matt.
I'm making a kombucha next. I just figured it out. But that's it for tonight.
What is Matt up to? Let's
Uh,
wander over to him.
I am talking with the NPCs. I'm trying to learn more about their deity, their cult, whatever their, I guess, pagan
Oh,
god, their
yeah.
Cthulhu.
right.
And I would hear this conversation and wander up because I'm curious as well.
So Azaram, when you go looking for Matt, you kind of stumble onto a scene over separate from the rest of the party because clearly, like, nobody really likes these NPCs except for maybe Freddy.
He is one of them.
I like them. I see hope in them. As
Home
I
economics
wonder-
simulator.
Hope.
Yeah, you stumble onto a scene where Matt is sort of trying to mediate what became an argument between some of these NPCs because we have Freddy, we have Atherd, we have Lawrence, and now we have this nameless acolyte who's still bound and is kind of sitting defiantly quietly on the floor.
I will have. Wait a minute. This guy's got like spells and shit, right?
Had
He has
used a number
used
of them.
Spells in the past, correct?
Yes.
Damn
he has that
shame.
capacity. Yes.
A damn shame for him. Because he is. He does still have his hands bound behind him. Well, I'll say that Ala. What was that, Fox?
We took their component pouches also.
Okay, good. Yeah, I want him at the very least bound, but he can be ungagged and he can have his feet undone.
Mm-hmm.
But he's gonna have his hands tied in front of him.
Absolutely. You have like those thick, several layered coil wrappings around his hand. He can barely even kind of like do this. You know, there's barely
Enough for
even-
him to bring a spoon up to his mouth.
Yeah, he can handle things, but there's extremely limited range of motion and definitely no.
Okay. Now that that's settled,
Yeah.
what are they arguing about?
Well, they're actually arguing is like he's. They're literally arguing over Matt was trying to kind of prod into the cult stuff, and they were just talking about it. It's like just he's not gonna answer anything. This is a pointless conversation. Like the master's gonna like kill us all if we don't do something about this guy. Like he's gonna kill us all anyway. Like they're just kind of bickering about the ramifications of what just happened in the lair. Freddy seems to be the most loyal to y'all, has the most faith in y'all's ability to overcome whatever's coming after that. But Lawrence is like, I don't like we've all seen his powers of prophecy. He knows everything. Like we can't escape this is ridiculous. Like we won for now, but this guy is a liability if we want to keep going and get out from under this. Like we have to get rid of the guy. And he's not going to tell us anything. And Atherd is kind of just like, well, look, I mean, we all got a second chance here. I mean, we got to get a second chance to this guy. Yeah.
I cut in. How does his prophecy work?
They
In
all
what way does
kind
he
of like
prophesize?
look. Well, he says, well, for one thing, he knew y'all were coming.
But you've never seen him proffer.
No,
Did he know that we were gonna wreck y'all's entire shit?
We don't really get all the information. We
gonna
mostly
turn-
get the highlights and then commands.
I saw them all glance at him, so
Mhm.
I'm gonna turn towards the acolyte.
Mhm.
And I say, I presume you may be around during his divinations.
I have been privy to some of his commune with the gods, yes.
Right. Matt, can I have a word with you?
Sure.
I'll lead Matt away from the rest of him.
What's
We're
on
gonna
your mind?
We're gonna have to do bad things to that man to get his information.
We can convince him.
Are you confident in that? I've
Me,
tried.
me, no, but Fox has a friendship dance.
That's right. That's right. Very well.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps it won't have to come to such dire circumstances so soon.
Of
But
course.
I'll have you know I am not above it.
Fine, we don't have to torture them, but I would.
You don't know. I mean, what if the friendship dance doesn't get you what you need? You know what I
Yep.
mean? This is about contingencies right now.
Dance.
Well, let's have a word with Fox then.
Okay.
We'll
Fox, what do you
find
think?
what's Fox doing? Drinking?
Y'all asking me to dance?
What is Fox up to right now post funeral?
He's probably rifling through people's stuff while they're not listening.
You find something pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so camera shift. What's Fox up to? Fox is drinking, going through stuff in the back of the back of the wagon, being mischievous. You come across an extremely patchworky. Oh yeah, go for it if you want to. You come across an extremely patchwork satchel. It's kind of small. It doesn't look like it was meant to hold much. Inside, you kind of find what appear to be rotted out kind of bits of some plant matter and old ritualistic tools. It appears to maybe be spell components of some kind. But on top of that, there is a tightly rolled bit of parchment in there. And some extremely rotted rations and stuff. But you don't recognize this little sack. This personal pouch. As being anyone's that you've seen before.
Is it like a similar sort of like rot and decay as the guy that we just buried?
Yes.
Okay. So seems like maybe.
Yeah, you think it's probably his. If Juyu were here, they would probably tell you that it came off of oh my gosh.
You said it
Trass's
once.
body, in preparations of the funeral. A lot of kind of like rotted garb and stuff were cut away, and his Trass's personal effects were kind of set aside. And when you're going through stuff kind of haphazardly, you just come across something that you hadn't really seen before, and you don't exactly know what it is, and you start looking through it, and you find these things.
Is the
yeah.
rolled parchment, is it like sealed?
No, and in fact, it doesn't even look to be very well cared for. It's just kind of like folded up, wrapped, and then kind of tied loosely with a thin string of leather, which itself is weathered by time, and you can tell, too much pulling, it'll kind of just like come apart.
I'll fix it eventually.
It's clearly not integral. It's just something to keep closed.
Yeah. Definitely, I check that shit out.
You find what appears to be as you unfold it and unroll it, kind of just a small little hand-drawn map in charcoal, and with some smudges of pigmentation here and there to kind of differentiate landmarks, but it appears to be a hand-drawn map.
The way you describe this sounds like infinitely more well drawn and artistic than Genrik's map. The one.
Oh,
from
don't
the
worry.
session.
Don't worry. It's gonna look exactly as shitty. Just give me 1 second.
Never mind. When you said it's drawn with charcoal, I just imagined just a fucking beautiful fucking artistic rendering. But I guess it was like drawn with charcoal, like
Hey.
the wrong way.
I mean, it looks fine. It's just that this is what it looks like when I draw y'all a map.
Yeah, I just love the idea that no one can fucking draw a map in this entire universe except Fenry. It's way better than the last one, but it still looks like someone drew it like holding a pencil like this.
The skulls are so cute. They're so
Yeah.
like maddening.
I love the hills. Those are hills. The little like yellow hills.
Ginrik starts blushing as Fenry's like, "Oh, look at the little skulls."
Ginrik reacts just enough to know that you can tell he's eavesdropping from a distance, and he just takes a deep pull of wine from his skin and doesn't acknowledge the conversation at all.
I'll go drink with Genrik.
He's not pouting. He's just.
I'm not pouting.
He's just got other things on his mind, and he happened to
Also,
hear.
I give everyone a drink, by the way, except that fucking acolyte, the one that won't play nice.
Oh, and I will like, once we're more grouped back together, like me and Matt said, where's Fox? And like we wandered back. We don't find him immediately because he's rummaging around in this stuff. I'll walk up to Julia and be like, we're gonna have to get some information out of that acolyte.
I like already forgotten about the acolyte.
No, I see you
until the moment when I was like, I'm not gonna give you alcohol.
Yeah, I see you pointedly not give him alcohol, and that's when I bring it up to you.
Fox, when you find this, go ahead and roll me some sort of investigation check just to check out the whole contents of the bag and everything.
Dang it. Okay.
You can clearly see that it's an attempt to sketch out some of the region that you've even personally been through. There are a few odd and interesting markings, but something that you happen to catch when you're kind of looking it over is that on the back there is also script that you cannot read, written hastily and even smudged across the back of this parchment.
Do I recognize like the language at least?
You do not. That said, returning quickly to Julia and Azaram and Matt's conundrum with the acolyte. As you all kind of discuss the necessity to perhaps use less than savory means to get information from him, you remember, hey, Fox has the friendship dance, and you come up on Fox kind of rummaging through the deceased's belongings
Which we do every day.
all the time.
I'm like, hey, are you looking at a dead man's map?
Nice.
I'm just looking. Just having a little peek. I wasn't gonna keep it.
I don't know about at a map, but I'm looking.
I happen to be looking at this map. Doesn't mean that I was doing anything.
Fenry gets interested when she hears that you're looking at a map. She wants to see it for sure.
Finry
Yeah,
pops
this
out
has
from
major,
behind
like,
the.
This has major like treasure map vibes.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's not gonna be that that like positive. It's gonna be
Oh, good. Everyone's here. Everyone that matters.
Yeah, I'm definitely let Henry. I let everyone who wants to take a look.
Do I recognize the language?
You don't.
Oh
do
man.
I?
Julia does.
Ooh, it's draconic?
No, it's druidic.
Oh.
Um,
I'm so excited that I get to read druidic. It doesn't happen often. I'm like
across
looks like the
the
tables have
back,
turned.
across the back of this map, you can see kind of, like I described a second ago, hastily written, smudged, worn with time. You look it over and find that, to the best of your ability, it says this.
For some reason, I can't see that.
It says understood by Julia. I will simply post it
What? Why can't I see it?
in the chat.
Yeah, like I should be able to see it.
Should. It says you did even, but we will simply PM you on Discord.
Okay. Let me check my languages. Yeah, it says I have druidic.
It doesn't show you the translation above it or anything.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I didn't see that part. I didn't know that's how it worked. I thought it would just show me in
Okay,
the
cool.
main text.
Very good.
I'm like so I like walk up to Matt and I'm like, you're looking at a dead man's map, and like as you're looking at the map, I see the back of it, and I'm like, who's Lunatica? Who's Lunatacia? And who's seeking? The back of the map says they seek Lunatacia. What does that mean?
Maybe the acolyte knows. He knows a lot of things that we need to know.
Good point.
Go do your friendship dance, Fox.
Yeah, before we do some things, some not PG-13 things, you should try the dance.
Mm-hmm.
And I like take a look at the map, and then I'm like, oh, the skulls are really cute.
Then Fenry's like looking at it with you at the same time because she just likes maps. She says that the hills look like hominy.
Oh, it does.
Like hominy.
I guess we're all drunk at this point. We're just like hominy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You were passing around the brew.
I go
so
I go in depth about the process of making hominy from corn and the nixtamalization, which I'm sure it's not called this in this universe, but
It is now.
this confirms that there is rasa in this universe.
That there is
I love
what?
it.
Rasa, there's there's at least like indigenous people or like Mexicans, because that's what nixtamalization comes from.
Hey,
Anyways,
we'll check it out. I mean,
oh, hominy, yeah, that's when you put stuff in lime water. Put corn. Corn's a great crop. This is me like rambling as like
This is
the scene
druid
shifts
stream
somewhere
of
more important.
consciousness. Yeah. Yeah, you have this odd this word it's not a word in druidic, so it's spelled more phonetically. It would be Lunaticia,
Lunaticia. Thank you for the correction.
just so that
I like point on the map, and I'm assuming this is where Lunaticia might be. The circle with the question mark. That's just conjecture.
Oh, I'm sorry, which map?
The drawn map.
Go ahead and roll me either intelligence or wisdom, whichever you.
Wisdom, for damn sure. It's not a save, right? Just an ability.
No, just an ability check.
Ugh. Well, at least it's at 12.
But I'm standing there with you, and can I grant advantage since I'm proficient?
Yeah, you can do this. You both sit there, look over the map, and try and puzzle out maybe what it could mean. Nice, nice.
I'm not the cartographer.
As
I
the
just give it
guess
to
comes
him.
out of your mouth, you recognize that it's probably not what's going on here, because from what you can tell, the cave you just left is marked on the map, and that the kind of grassland hill area to the southeast is probably closer to where you've already been. So if anything, the big question mark is near where you entered Sonottia.
Oh,
Mm.
it's like a moment where like where Julia basically like turns the map back upside down, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's where we came from.
Yeah. Like, why are these skulls upside down?
Yeah, they're dead. So the skulls are like, but yeah, it makes way more sense this direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I take note. I'm like, oh, so there's a tower. I don't know what the skulls mean, but they're really cute. But I bet they don't mean something good. And I noticed that like there seems to be some sort of settlement or homestead over by this water up in the corner. This is great.
Near the top right corner thing. Yes. Yeah.
I'd take this to Genrick, but y'all can go ahead. I want to see this person get friendship danced.
There's 4 NPCs total, right?
Yes. The Acolyte, Florence, Atherd, and Freddy.
I go ahead and just target all of them, just in case.
All right.
Somebody's lying.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you say, bud. You're the boss.
I very much
They're drinking. I'm
imagine-
sure they're happy. Or the 3 of them are.
They all need to make wisdom saving throws, DC 14.
So you come up to them, and what causes them to need to make wisdom saving throws?
My enthralling dance,
Which
I
is
shimmy my hips. It's hard to look away.
What was the
Your hips don't lie.
what were
And neither can they.
these hips don't lie, but these lips do.
what was the DC?
14.
Okay. You can
Oh,
tell.
wait. Before this happens, I would like to. Oh, I don't have any spell slots. Fuck, I was gonna hex the guy and actually get some use out of that for once. Fuck.
It's only checks, not throws.
Whatever.
Hex has been a lot more beneficial to you than I feel like you feel it has been. Which
Well,
may
I
be a
don't
problem
feel
with
it,
Hex.
So you're right.
Yeah. But I just say that it's funny to me how a total aside. You're like so frustrated with Hex. You're trying to like make it do something.
Because when I think of Hex, I'm thinking of it because I want to give someone disadvantage on a saving throw. That's what I want in life. It's all I want from life. It's for my enemies to fail their goddamn saving throws.
You may be interested in retraining Hex then, because it only affects ability checks. That said, Fox, you go up and you start doing an entrancing performance. In my head, it's very similar to the weird dancing mask in Majora's Mask. You know what I'm talking about, right? Did anybody say anything? I just heard giggling.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
remember.
everyone's hanging behind dry.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't like remember the dance.
It's just a really odd sort of back and forth twirly dance that kind of like
Yeah,
I
it
thought you were
is.
gonna say
you
twerking.
put your like hands together and like
Yeah.
it's kind of serpentine almost. It has a very sort of like whooshy seductive quality, I guess. But yeah, you do that. You kind of can you tell if it works or not, or is it?
I think you.
I mean,
It's probably one of those things. Somebody appears to be charmed or doesn't. Kind of look over the crowd after your performance, and you find that Lawrence couldn't give less of a fuck. Totally uninterested. However,
Hey, they're drunk. I don't know if
Yeah.
that affects anything. I gave them drinks.
the thing about this is like, unlike
Disadvantage on
True.
their saving throws.
I mean, I don't
Unlike-
know if we have formal rules for.
No,
I
it's
had a
fine. No, I
beer.
know it's interesting information for sure. But
But
go ahead.
Unfortunately, not the guy we're literally trying to intimidate.
unlike charm person, like if it doesn't work on them, they don't have any idea that like I was attempting to charm them. They just like think I'm doing a weird dance.
Yeah. That's the impression you get. Lawrence is like, what? Atherd and Frederick, however, are clearly kind of like a little like odd, like starstruck. Watching, you can very visibly see that they are charmed, like pupils dilated, kind of a little bit slack jaw, just like totally entranced. The acolyte as well is nonplussed, sitting in a cross-legged in the middle of a patch of grass in this pond clearing and just staring at you wordlessly.
Damn.
He
Alright.
hates friends.
God, this guy's a bastard.
Well then,
Doesn't appreciate art.
to go to.
Dude,
I still just go and sit with Freddie and Atherd and have them like fawn over me.
He's just gonna make his life way worse than it needs to be.
Have them feed me berries as I lounge.
Maybe
Tell
they'll
me.
talk a little bit more too. I don't know.
This guy's like Gale the snail. You don't want to salt them. You don't feel good doing it, but they just make you do it.
Oh my god.
Oh goodness. The dice don't lie. But yeah, yeah, Atherd is kind of just like your tail is now fascinating to him. He's like, this is this is as soft as any fox's tail. He's just like totally like no personal boundaries are being
Fuck. It's not these ones that have
Recognized.
information we need. It's this one that has information we need.
Like, I'd dance for them too, you know. Win some, lose some.
Mm. See, like, here's the conundrum. We could just, like, wait for Fox to be able to do it again, or we could not. Like, that's the conundrum Azaram's at right now. Like, Azaram wants to know what this guy knows. He needs to know how the Master divined. Is he using a scrying pool? Is he using just basic components to cast spells? Is he some kind of warlock that is being bequeathed abilities by his patron or whatever? Like, it could be any number of these things, and this guy fucking knows. And I want him to tell it to me. Easily. But that's like what's going through Azaram's head right now. He's frustrated that he might have to fucking break this guy's knuckles.
Jeez. Yeah, he's a statuesque, But Fox is having a great time over there being waited on hand and foot and Barry and tail by Atherd and Frederick. Meanwhile, Lawrence is like, "What are y'all doing? Like, what are you doing?"
Finri has charm person. She could try.
Please.
Do you have any
Okay.
spell slots? Technically, you have not finished the rest yet.
Oh, then no. I'm just like,
No.
well, I would if I weren't so sleepy.
This is where I'd put my
You know
charm
what?
person spell. I had it.
It's not a ritual, is it?
Mm-mm.
But
Ooh.
I used all my slots.
Would it be counterintuitive to just lay this exactly what we're doing right now out to him? Do you think it would be a bad idea for me to walk up to him and tell him, look, we're doing everything we can to force information out of you currently, and if we can't do the easy way, we're going to start trying the gross hard way. Like, I could just let him know that, and maybe that'll work.
I feel like this
I don't think it
person
will, though.
would be afraid of pain.
Yeah, and
you
that's
can
another
tell.
thing.
I mean, roll insight. You roll up and you roll up and say something like that to him.
Yeah, I'm just throwing the idea out to my compatriots right now. Like,
Mhm.
we need to know what he knows. We
Yeah.
truly
I don't think it
do.
should
I'm
come
not,
to violence.
I'm not doing this
I
because I
would-
think it's fun or like I get off from it. We need to know what this man knows. The person he works for is actively seeking to kill us and our benefactor. And
I mean,
they
I
can
was
predict the
literally
future.
reading the guy's mind, and it was very hard to like get concrete info. So
He
I think it would be difficult.
yeah.
I don't know if just beating him up is gonna do it.
Natural
Oh.
20 on the
Oh,
insight, by
wow.
the way.
On the insight, you can
Natural
tell
20.
that he is well composed, afraid of the pain, infinitely more afraid of both the master and the entity that the master worships and receives interest from. And on top of that, is a true believer, is a zealot. Absolutely has co-signed whatever the agenda and beliefs of this cult are. So they're fully prepared. You can see in their eyes, fully prepared to
So
endure
I-
whatever is coming.
that's
A,
you go
a
ahead.
quick suggestion, or just kind of an assessment. Julia just kind of says from afar, because I'm like at this point back to drinking with Genrick,
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of just enjoying these goons like fawning over Fox. Is like, at this point we can either just keep trying magic on him because he's not going to say anything willingly, or we just feed him to the toads.
That was my next suggestion. we either
I don't think intimidation and torture is gonna work on this guy. We either gotta successfully get a spell on him, or just get rid of him. And if we
And-
want to do it a certain way,
That's where I
we
agree.
can-
I agree with that at this point, after having looked him over and whatnot. We're either going to charm the information out of him, or we're going to kill him. There is, I believe, no other option. He's
So I
not.
think
going
for
to be
now we should just
for us.
enjoy the night and like grieve and drink.
I didn't know
and-
the guy.
Oh well, he seemed he seemed cool.
I wouldn't know
I
he
w-
was dead when I met him.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking again. I would definitely go hang out with Genrick and like try and get him to talk about, not just talk about his friend just because I want to know, but more so like kind of like give him an opportunity to talk about the good times
Mm-hmm.
and glean the kind of character. I don't even know this guy's name. Did we do a funeral?
Yeah. Their name was keep saying it and keep forgetting it.
Frisk,
No.
What
Flynn,
was it?
Gent,
Trass.
Trask.
TR.
Their name was Trask? Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. We can always try another attempt tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and then beyond that, I think this acolyte is basically like a toll charge if we ever need to take the Toad Bridge again.
I
Hell yeah.
I would like to make certain he won't be able to use any of his abilities and come the morning.
Yeah. You.
Whatever that takes.
Oh, we can take
you-
watch.
Yeah, can totally gag and bind and whatever. You've
Corey,
done
I
it
want
before.
to make a point. Everyone else is going bad cop. I want to be going good cop.
Okay.
So
How do you
this
how do you
whole
try?
time, first, I mean, I try to give him like an easier way where he just tells us what we want and we don't beat him. That's one option.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want, but I actually I offer like rewards. Like I offer like to kill him before the master gets his hands on us.
Oh, like a merciful death.
Yeah, like a
Oh
merciful
my
death,
god.
so
Like
it doesn't turn
protection
into...
from the master.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Finds your offer interesting. And he kind of like looks you over, kind of taking appraising you. And he responds by saying that death wouldn't be the end of his misery. But then he also says to you, you are clearly one of great spiritual strength. The master could make use of you. He's inevitable. The course of history inevitably ends in our master's return. But you have talents that would most certainly be beneficial to and rewarded by our god.
I already have a master, so I'm not really interested in another one.
You'll know
Having
nothing of
to-
I just want to, as I'm walking by, I just want to say you know nothing of inevitability.
What do you know of inevitability?
I know that entropy is inevitable, and that your master will fade just as all others have and will.
Perhaps. But that same entropy is exactly what is clearing the way for the reign of our god.
I hate this guy, Matt.
I scoff. My video's off. Julia like
What?
scoffs and is like fucking determinists. Like and just like walks away. Just like there's no reasoning with these kind of people.
There is no reason to be had. It is simply a fact. How you
I, like,
understand
groan
it is
loudly.
inconsequential.
I just look at Matt and see how he's reacting to this guy's fucking speech. What do you think
This
of all
guy's
this?
killing my buzz. Let's just gag him and like enjoy the night.
Yeah, this night's
Harsh
for
on the
morning,
vibe.
not.
Theology.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like a great like affront to what I believe in. Like vaguely kind of like worship,
Mhm.
more culturally than anything else, to be honest, but as the world serpent,
Mhm.
as like this is like a great misinterpretation of how the world always moves and it moves in cycles, but it doesn't move in a circular, it doesn't walk in circles to come back again. It moves forward, and your idea of that this master's reign is inevitable just kind of flies at the face of how the world really works.
It's
And then
so
I gag him
narrow.
before he can respond.
It's so narrow-minded. We keep like having our one-sided discussion with his bag in his mouth. I mean,
Just shut
really,
up,
how smooth-brained can you be?
all the
No, hush,
themes
hush,
of
hush.
brains. Like we literally fought a brain today.
Oh yeah.
So this is like a great bonding moment between Julia and Azaram, as we both realize that like the metaphysic of what we believe is very similar.
Yeah.
There's
Look,
certainly
it's,
overlap.
it's less of a belief. I just know things to be the way they are. And you happen to believe that as well. And, well, I think that's just peachy.
Endure.
What as you gag and finally just put the acolyte hub out of sight for the night. You can tell they were going to respond, but as y'all
Oh.
said, you had enough, and
He can say something tomorrow.
I'm sure that they could theologize us under the table. We're just not going to give them the chance.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I mean, if Matt, you want to talk to him about theology, go for it. But I'm gonna go vibe. And what's the druid's name again that died?
Trass.
Trass.
Tras.
I'm gonna go.
Hang with Ginrick.
Enjoy the night in the name of Trass.
Gotcha.
Not just a fallen comrade of his, but like another lost druid.
Mm-hmm. In that kinship. Well, Fox is having a blast. Lawrence gave up trying to snap them out of it and is just kind of like rolling his eyes and sort of like eating and drinking alone. Clearly uninvested in the emotional sort of like content of the night. Nim and Ginrick are sitting by the pond, kind of just gazing.
What color is now?
Nim is a sort of soft pale blue.
No. Let's do that.
Hey,
Did
While
you
I'm
say
like-
that?
What was that, Henry?
Oh, sorry. No. Never mind.
Some people had questions.
Blue's the sad color.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it is somber.
Oh, I didn't know she changed colors. I
She
thought she
does.
just like put feelings. in
Yeah,
her
they're
head.
like a
Okay.
mood ring.
Mhm.
I thought you were like just disappointed that she was blue in general, and I was like, and
Nice.
Understandable. Not my favorite color, but we're not gonna start that because I know our DM disagrees.
Curious. I want to go up to Nim and ask Nim, I am curious. I would like to know what it is like to see through your eyes.
Nim and Gendrick both kind of turn to your attention. Nim is sort of sitting kind of a respectable distance away from Gendrick while still being in company, but
Does
Nim-
do flumps like have that sort of social dynamic? Like, she's like respectfully keeping a little bit of distance away from Gendrick. It's a very human thing, which surprises Azaram.
she you don't know too much of flumps and their sociology, but you get the sense that even if it were a totally foreign custom, she probably is simply
Emulated.
capable of intuiting like those relations from surface thoughts and from kind of like the emotional response of approaching and finding a good
Fascinating.
distance. Yeah.
But yeah, I propose that to Nim.
Nim responds with an intense kind of curiosity, and she's like, yeah, sure.
And then I will
Um,
reach out my hands. I will take a seat, lean against a rock face or the cabin or the wagon or whatever, so
mhm.
my body does, so I don't like lose balance. And I'll reach out and put a hand on Nim and gaze up to mine. My
You-
eyes gloss over and go foggy.
Yeah. Nim sort of like situates herself. You know that flumps basically hover, but Nim is kind of hovering pretty low to the ground. Her weird jellyfish tentacle arms are kind of splayed around to sort of loosely support her weight in front of you while y'all both do this. And it's sight and hearing. correct?
Yes. Just sight and sound.
Her eyes are perched on stalks. But I don't know that here. And that's what I'm looking up. Okay, I'll just grab it for you. Uh-huh. Uh-uh.
What are you talking about? Yeah, Flumps can hear.
Yeah, it's interesting. So her eyes are independent and on stalks, so you have a sense of disorientation just from that. As Nim kind of independently and gets, you can see that she's looking you over interestingly from various angles, getting a sense of what a gith is like, of your dimensions and things, and
Well, we don't swap. She's not in my body.
no, this is what you're
Got it.
seeing.
Got it.
Her looking at you. And you hearing is a bit different for her too as well. She doesn't have the same kind of like what, olfactory, or is that smell?
Yeah,
That's smell.
yeah, that is smell. But I get what you're saying.
Whatever. She doesn't have same sense organs for hearing.
I don't, but I'm not picking up because like Flumps can hear everything telepathically within range.
Exactly.
Like, is there any of that transference happening?
I like the idea that it does. So, and that is one difference that is sort of immediately also disorienting to you, because while at once you can hear sound a little bit less differentiated and directional than what you're used to hearing, but also just the sounds of trace thoughts and emotions and whispers in minds nearby.
Fucking trippy.
It's difficult to pinpoint, except of course Ginrick, who you recognize immediately. His grief is intense and very close by to Nim.
Oh, so like the emotion of the thoughts is like sort of permeates above the actual like substance of them.
Yeah, it's almost like the emotional content of a mind is maybe the canvas on which a thought is then
Neat.
details within. So the most glaring like sense you get is just a swirl of Ginrick's sort of moods and emotions. Flumps are primarily like empathic. They're telepathic or whatever, but it is empathically oriented. So a lot of this stuff is very tuned to like emotion and orientation and intention.
Azaram's glossed over eyes. He says, "Fascinating."
You well, you hear and feel Ginrick suddenly laugh, just completely caught off guard by that.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like I'm warged out of my mind, but that my posture is unnecessary because I can still move, but I am like kind of slumped backwards.
You're just like, whoa.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I noticed that Genrick laughs, and I'm like, I don't get what's funny because it's like not that weird to me, but I'll like do a weird lizard laugh too.
Oh, you're over sitting there with Ginrick as well?
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask something, but I barely have enough tact to kind of notice I shouldn't.
Maybe.
But so I'm gonna ask. I'm asking you, the DM, out of character.
Uh-huh.
How many companions of Genrick came to this place?
There were 4
what was the
other
party
than
that-
him.
4 other than him?
Yes. And he's given you their names. I have found them. And if they're contradicted by earlier recordings, then they're retconned now. So if you want them, I can give them to you.
I was just noticing because that's what I thought, and I was noticing that's the same number of skulls in the map, but that may be coincidence, considering one of the skulls is close by, but like not at the cave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I'm just kind of taking a mental note that there's a skull that not that far away from where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Maybe we should go see what that means. But I'll save that for the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did Gendrick ever say Gendrick ever say anything about this map specifically?
No, Ginner doesn't even know about the map yet.
Oh,
Y'all looked at that
I'm pretty sure.
independently.
I thought I said I was gonna show him, but I don't think I ever actually.
We can do
did.
that now.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, Genrick, so we found this.
And your friends.
What do you make of it? And I give it to him, and I tell him what it says on the back.
You you hand him the map, and Azaram, you feel through your gaze, your inhabitants of Nim's mind, an emotional shift. There's now sort of curiosity and a little bit of like determination and intrigue that at least temporarily kind of wash over
Now, am
his
I
mental state.
am I most noticing Gendrick stuff because that's who
Is
the flump
closest.
is focusing on, or because you said they're closest?
Yes. So I mean, you could now that I remember Julia's here, you could definitely feel Julia's sort of presence as well, and their kind of like emotional like responses to stimuli and things. But yeah, you can definitely feel everyone in trace elements. But you do think that
If your
Nim's
mood were a
focus has to do with it, and
Julia,
the parts
if
of
your
it.
if your mood were a description on a mood ring, what would it be right now?
Floaty, because I'm a little drunk, like Julia is, also me. But like, just kind of like feeling the whole vibe, having a good time. Putting to
Are we-
practice all of those good vibes that I've learned from my mammalian comrades, and
Nice.
Hold it down.
but I do have that moment of like, oh, you haven't seen this map yet, so I think right now a little bit more focused to see what homeboy says.
Mm-hmm.
And dang, there was something else I was gonna say. Oh, is it obvious what Azaram's doing right now? Like looking through the flumps.
I wasn't hiding it. I like.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've
The
seen
flump.
Azaram do it before for sure, and that's clearly what Ginrick was laughing about. Just Azaram also all of
Yeah.
a sudden being like, fascinating.
As a response to that, which kind of breaks me out of my concentration, I look at Azaram, but then I'm like, I look at the flump, and I say to the flump, which is to Azaram, this is getting weird. You should do me next, and then
Julia.
and I start looking like because my eyes look in directions. I have chameleon eyes.
Julia.
It's like,
Alright.
My
you
My
have no clue what it's like.
My
I need someone to
body-
understand.
my body shouts out, Julia, so forward. One of the first aphorisms I was taught was do when I arrived in this land.
Do?
Julia's
Yes.
completely lost.
Yes, a woman came up to me and she says, I'd always wanted to do an alien. I did not understand what she meant before that night, but I understood afterwards.
Oh my god.
Julia says no horny.
No horny posting. The horny police bonk you.
Bonk.
And then I just go back to Gendrick, and I'm like, no, seriously though, what's with this?
This language confounds me.
You prefer raw psychic, like
We speak.
Sense
We have.
explosion.
We have a
You should really have
language.
to say you prefer it raw and then pause for that long.
I did. It was intentional. Ginrick is poring over this map and he's like, okay, where was this? What do you need me to say about this? I think this is a map of that we're in, but I feel like you'll
Fox
probably know
found
too.
it. Fox found it in the cart, so I can only assume it was your friends.
Mm.
It couldn't have just come out of nowhere.
He spent some time studying the map, and he's like, well, I don't know that Trask was a cartographer, but he like notices the script on the back. He's like, I do recognize like the handwriting here as being theirs, so I don't know what this says, but they were fond of passing messages through druidic or relieving druidic markings. I
I translate it for him. I tell him it says they seek loot. How do you say it again?
Lunaticia.
Lunaticea.
He does not seem to know, and Azaram, you don't seem to feel any emotional response of recognition or clarity. Only puzzlement as he looks over this map. Well, I guess we know kind of the lay of the land somewhat. I'm not sure what all these markings mean. I think that the big circle's where we came in, probably, and he kind of points at it. Other than that, this doesn't clear anything up for me. Is there anything you wanted me to look at specifically about it, or?
You been up to the tower yet?
I've been nowhere.
You had to have been somewhere while you were here if you all died here.
He never came here, did he?
No, he didn't come here. He came.
Oh, that's right.
He
Yeah.
basically left them to the expedition by themselves and felt guilty when they never came back. So he tried to go after them to save them.
I say all of that to like catch people. I'm like, he's never been here. Don't y'all know? He like, and then, like I say to Bolt bluntly. Yeah, that's why he feels all guilty about not coming out here.
He just kind of scratches his jawline as you're explaining things and pretends to just be focused on the map.
Has Freddy or the Ackard, yeah, I was trying to remember. I keep wanting to say Ackard, like the street.
I'm like up on their shoulder, like one leg on each of their shoulders,
Like a
just,
throne or
like,
something.
riding around. I'm just like, hey, you guys haven't been lying to us, have you?
Have they?
Freddy's like, no way, dude, you would have Matt chop me in half like that horse.
Yeah.
He would. He would.
Hey,
Atherd's
that's not
is
fair.
also just
That's-
like, of course not. Why would I do that? Atherd
Wait,
seems
what
a
was-
little bit like lying is just not in his disposition, but Freddy's like, no, definitely not. I would get chopped in half.
What were you gonna say, Matt?
Hey, I'm strictly non-violent. That's how I always approach combat.
Yeah, it's totally non-violent. With not to mention all the mangled corpses in your wake.
Freddy's like, yeah, non-violent.
I'm a pacifist. In theory.
Matt has compassion. It's just that, you know, getting attacked by a bunch of bandits, you know, is not exactly always the time and place.
I do love the contradictions in our like party makeup.
I mean, the
And
real
the
thing.
two weirdest people are trying so hard to be social, and they like over talk, and like Matt's a peaceful pacifist, but just accidentally chops things in half.
I mean, I
And-
personally, as a DM, just like combat's messy. You know, you don't always get
Yeah,
to. You don't always get
But
to
also,
choose. who
Well,
gets to-
actually, actually, more so than that, like I just like how Matt doesn't want to, like playing
cause
like
needless harm.
like, yeah, exactly. Like
Whereas
we're not gonna
Azaram
torture
is-
this guy over here.
Azaram is from a very militaristic people. Like even if the Githzerai are the more monk peaceful type, their entire existence is still based off of having to fight against certain threats and whatnot. So they've always been organized in that fashion and always have it instilled in them. So his baseline is just kill your enemies, but he's trying real hard to, look at the other options as well.
Exhaust possibilities before you go to the knuckle breaking. Yeah, totally.
Well,
Sounds
did
good.
we suggest that Julia show the map to one of the charmed knuckleheads that Fox is writing?
Oh, yeah, I like reach my long arm over to you. Like, yeah, that's a good idea. But like, I don't get up.
Fox, or Ian, were you saying that Fox is like riding up to this situation on their shoulders?
That's how I understood it.
Yeah.
I love
Like he
that.
just-
Okay, I
like
just
he
wanted to
just
make sure
won
you were
the-
entering the scene like that and not just describing what you were doing elsewhere.
Like he just won the like hockey game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atherd takes a look at the map and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of our best attempt to scout out the region. We were definitely sent to track." He points at the big circle. He's like, "We were looking for y'all over here."
What are the skulls?
Those are where hostilities lie. He says distractedly, still entranced by Fox's thing.
And what are these groups of 3 X's here, here, and here?
He looks, he's like, "I think that is where we have sent out scouts that did not return."
What's the tower?
That is, I believe, a wizard's tower, but we don't really have any business over there, or at least I don't know of any that we've had over there.
Cave?
That's home base. That's where,
You were there.
yeah.
I haven't looked at this map yet.
Oh, okay.
Does
Also,
the
maps still a new concept for Azaram.
Yeah.
I was
3D
more
and
like,
2D.
this is a cave icon. Am I correct?
Like you're still catching up to like overland travel, and we're bringing up the idea of a 2D representation of the world.
Meanwhile,
like,
Azaram's like,
"Woo!"
"Maps? I don't get it. I'm over here experiencing the psychedelic texture of our reality." Just
It's look, look. Maps, they're quaint. We'll leave it at that.
Azaram
Imagine you're.
like
Sorry, Ian. Go ahead.
Azaram could totally just feel Freddy and after just being like, "Holy shit, this guy is awesome!" Like,
yes, yes.
Fox, these gentlemen want to do you, I believe, if I'm using the term correctly.
Something close. Inhibitions
you know.
are down.
territory of being a performer.
I asked Fenry. I'm like, hey, ask them about the little house in the pond. I don't know why I'm not doing it myself. I'm just like that too. What is
Could
that?
you say that out loud next to them?
Yes. I want to ask you about the house, and like she repeats it verbatim. Like,
Look, god damn it, how rude.
They're still by default overawed and singularly focused on Fox. So your question falls on deaf ears.
Oh, let's ask the one that's not trans.
do you repeat it?
Yeah, I'm like, tell me, what is this? What is this lake house? Is it a
The-
lake house?
That is the Temple of Lunaticea. It's important to our master, but I've never been there.
Oh,
Oh,
more
cool.
questions for the acolyte.
Oh.
Sick.
Lunaticea.
the river? Do you think the river that goes through the cave also goes through the temple?
Like it cuts through the mountain.
Ooh, can I do a nature check to see if I can figure that out?
You could try, yes.
Or we could ask them where the river, or the
Fu-
where the
yeah.
water source comes from. Also.
Fox.
Yeah, I mean, y'all can ask them. That's fine. I got a 13.
With a nature check.
Yeah, I'll ask them about the stream.
They seem totally clueless. They're like, "I don't know. It's water. It's our master picked the cave and directed us to do stuff with the water. I'm not a geologist. Gia kind of studies the map and puzzles over kind of like natural water formation and the nature of streams and mountainous regions and things. You think it's plausible, but you don't have enough information to know for sure. You think
I'm
it
like-
more likely that that whatever the source of the water of your particular stream, at least in good part, comes from higher up in the mountain because
First, I
of the way
think-
it was crashing through the cave.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. First, I'm like, just water. Okay,
That's what I thought too. I mean, come on, don't act dumb. Come on.
just water. Anyways, and then I like look at the map. I'm like,
We know
a
it's
little
weird
too-
water. We just don't know what the deal is with it. Not our lot.
That was just like that was just me being like, just water. You have no idea what the lifeblood of life. blood of the earth.
Like they were just
I
being
was
like
more
dismissive
like,
to
aren't
water.
you, like,
I see.
The
Mid of
water
the
as
land?
the formal concept,
Mhm.
the platonic form of water, isn't
I was-
just water. Anyways,
Aren't you mid of the land? Shouldn't you know this kind of stuff?
right? And I determined that like I'm like, hey, it could be, but I'm like trying to like measure how tall these like shittily drawn mountains are, and it just occurred to me that whoever drew this probably wasn't really, you know, into topography,
Yeah, there was
which I'm not sure if that's a thing yet. But if
Certainly
Fenry
not for
drew
this
this map, I
artist.
would trust it. I'm gonna gas up my friend's cartography skills.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I don't know. I guess survival doesn't fit. Do you think Henry would have a? I feel like she would have maybe a chance to like, as a map drawer, maybe have insight to that.
What the
Potentially.
mountain range and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You could go for it. Yeah.
What is a wizard's tower? It is. You spoke of it as if it had more connotation than the two words imply.
Well, I mean,
I,
there's
I asked like to either first I asked the main party, but I guess if one of the fucking NPCs speaks up, I'll listen to them.
the Frederick was like, well, yeah, the mage, there's a mage that lives supposedly over in those towers. A lot of aspiring magicians, you know, it's kind of like a folk tale thing, you know. It's like you're a kid, you wanna prove your mettle, you wanna like learn magic and go become an apprentice for the wizard who's supposed to live out there. But I mean, I never found him. I found here instead. He kind of embarrassedly sort of trails off. But yeah, just supposed to be a kind of a hermit that lives out there. Supposed to be a good wizard. Powerful, not necessarily good aligned.
Is that it? Okay, I was about to ask. Is that a distinction people truly make?
Yeah, he's supposed to be well versed in arcane arts. But I've never been out there, so I don't know.
Didn't Fox also find some spell stuff as well?
Components.
Yeah, some druidic spell components.
You found druidic spell components in that pouch.
Oh.
Those were probably grasses.
Mhm.
I think, well, now that we've deciphered this map in some way, perhaps we should head north. Check out these places where these scouts went missing. See why they went missing or don't. Doesn't really matter that much. Go see what this wizard's tower is all about. Sounds intriguing to me, and it's on the way to where our late druid was attempting to get to. This temple of
Lunatis.
that one.
that one as Ram
Oh, and by the way,
trips through. while-
I am speaking, through my own body. which is walking around blind and deaf, and
With Nim just like
ideally,
perched on your head or
Nim
something.
is yeah, exactly. Nim is just kind of sitting up on my head or whatever.
Nim seems to be having a fun time.
Good.
While still sort of that pale blue, there are kind of like little streaks and tints of like a kind of pink that seems to signal sort of amusement. She's sitting on your head like some sort of headdress with the tentacles kind of loosely draped around your shoulders and head, stabilizing her weight on your head there. You look insane, but it's fun for both of you, I guess. So that's what's going on.
That sounds so disorienting. Imagine like seeing through eyes that are on top of your head.
That
Yeah,
are
just, like,
also on
color.
stalks. So
They
Nim
make,
is like
like,
looking around like this and stuff.
They
all
make
the time.
gag glasses that are like periscope eyes that could get sort of a similar effect, I bet.
There are certainly some destinations of interest on here. They could probably tell you more about some of them. But Henry, you asked about the topography. You don't get any sense that the map was drawn in any way to reflect height, as much as it was drawn to reflect obstructions to lateral motion. That said, having traveled through the region and catching glimpses of the mountain range, you know that the mountain range immediately to your east gets very tall, and you can see like snowy peaks at the top of much of the center of the mountain range. It's an enormous mountain range. It's not a it spans wide, and its heights are very high. Just given the fact that you've been able to see them from a distance through thick tree cover and tree lines and things.
So Thenry suggests that so there's no X's next to the skull that we're closest to. So the scouts hopefully came back from whatever bad guys are there. So
we can. I mean, we can ask them specifically what that
no, yeah,
skull is.
for sure. But
Foxwell.
yeah, she should just loosely just like, well, you could check out that skull and hit up the wizard tower and then go north to the lake house.
Yeah. He says they explain, yeah, that's a hill giant settlement over there. They're kind of dumb.
Whoa.
I don't know. We stuck past them to get here, and then we just didn't bother because they would have wrecked us. That said, Atherd chimes in. He's like, "That's also there's a bunch of like human farm settlements over there. That's where I came from. That's where I grew up."
Wait, where?
Well,
Wait, he grew up in Sonottia?
What the fuck?
Atherd, yeah.
Where?
What?
Where on the map?
In the hilly region immediately to the left of the cave.
Oh dang!
I
Let's
thought
go
all
meet
these
his
dudes
family.
wandered into Sonottia.
Uh,
I guess that's what Azaram says. I thought you all wandered into the place.
what's his name? Lawrence is like, I wandered in.
I was presumptuous.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It is an interesting, I guess, revelation. I thought we'd maybe
Nope.
cover it a little bit.
Yeah, my understanding that this place is basically like a purgatory that people get stuck in.
Oh, that is
because of
that is
that,
that
I'm
is
not-
true. You have met people like that. You just
Yeah,
killed
I
most
like-
of them.
I like stroke my fins. I don't know. I'm just like, I mean, it makes sense. People get
I
stuck
just-
here. They're gonna form a society too.
I
Or
stroked
maybe
Nim's
they've always
tentacles.
been here. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Lawrence is not from here. Lawrence.
And the acolyte is not either, right?
You don't know. You didn't ask. Several of the, I think maybe Lawrence wasn't either, or Frederick rather. I'll have to go check. But Atherd is definitely from here, and at least some of the other people you've interrogated or fought on the way have been from the outside. You weren't confused. You weren't incorrect about that. That was information that you had come across. It was just other people.
Finri yells over to the acolyte and is like, "Are you from here? Just nod, yes or no. I'm not ungagging you."
He cocks his head.
Yeah, that's a good. She asked Fox to ask Atherd.
Yeah, he knows. I'm sure. I feel
Atherd
like he
has
could
no
know.
idea. He's like, they were all here when I got here. I'm one of the newer members. Oh, Adib posted the dance I was talking about. I'm typing the name into the chat. I responded to you, Gio. Yeah. Atherd's non-committal. But or sorry, not Atherd. The acolyte is non-committal. It's a question that doesn't interest them. That said, they're from here. If they all sat together and puzzled it out, it's like they didn't pick them up straggling around in the wastes or anywhere. So, and they're one of the more entrenched members of whatever this order is. So odds are they've been here longer than some of the more junior members. If that makes sense.
Yeah, we're watching this dance right now.
Oh yeah.
This is definitely the dance.
Wait, what dance is? Where was it posted?
The D&D Discord chat. As the night, is there anything anyone wants to do as the night winds down?
No, I'm just gonna hang out in Nim's perspective.
Fox goes ahead and asks them about the other skulls, just to know.
Okay. Let me look. Starting with which skull?
Start at the one at the bottom and
In the hominy or in
work up.
the mountains?
In the mountains.
In the hominy or the Toblerone?
Oh my god. Incredible. Yeah, they explain that the down south there's some military force. It seems to be kind of like the Outriders seem to be a faction of sort of orcs and other like giant races, half giant ogres, things of that nature. And from best they can tell, the skull is where they have identified that force is posted up. But their scouting parties were kind of like picked off in different places when they were investigating. And that's what the X's are.
Okay. And then the one in the hominy.
The one in the hominy, they explain it's a group of nomads. They're completely disparate. There's any number of outland tribes and groups and people, from humans to goblins to orcs and just it's a huge hodgepodge. They live out there and completely like they guard their territory very vigilantly. Presumably because the force that you were just asking about over to the east sends parties through the hills to try and kind of stake out territory, and there's kind of like a skirmish, a dispute over this contested region here in the middle of the wastelands between these two forces.
Word. And then the one by the lake house.
The one by the lake house, that is a group of rangers that does not fuck around. They kill anybody who gets close to that temple.
Oh. Okay.
Word.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Are they strong? Or not? Are they
Well,
stronger than us?
we're they're like, I don't know. Y'all pulled some crazy shit, but I have no idea. All I know is that we moved here to avoid having to deal with them. Supposedly, from what I gathered, people talking about the before times before I was here.
Interesting.
Cool.
Well, I guess for like the last thing of the evening for Thenry, if everyone's done asking questions about the map, she's gonna want to borrow it to use it as a guide for like the nice Sonottia map that she's drawing.
Nice. Yeah, you can cross-reference. I'm certain you'll find errors and inconsistencies and lazy cartography that you can correct and improve for y'all's own navigational purposes. But
I
for a
imagine
rough
she,
lay
like-
of the land, this is sort of this little chunk.
Yeah. I imagine she like compares it with Gendrick's map as
SMH.
well. Is like has it all laid out,
Mm-hmm.
off of it.
Ginrick's map from the region outside the boundary too doesn't overlap at all, but you do notice that there is some connectivity in the, like, if you were to line up with the boundary on each map,
Mhm.
you notice that there is sort of like a contiguous overlap between like biomes or whatever. The grasslands led to grasslands, where the mountain range leads. There was a mountain range in that general area. Same with the forestry, things like that. You know that there is apparently a body of water to the northwest, and that you all weren't very far from a coast in that same way. So yeah, landscape-wise, there does appear to be some sort of congruence here. Contiguous. I keep saying contiguous, but that does seem something like that's going on for sure.
Nice. That's what Thenry says.
You just look up. Nice. No.
Yeah.
Oh, did we ever ask how Tress ended up like in the cage? Like we know how he
Oh yeah,
died,
we
but
never asked them about what they know about him.
yeah. So Fox will do that.
So yeah, that.
Oh, that yeah. It's one of those things you've come to recognize it when you ask sort of. There are certain questions that sort of like puzzle people when they hear it, and you see them like trying to like work it out. Like, what do I know about this? When you ask about Trask, it's like Trask has been there. That body's been there for forever. We're just ordered not to touch it. The master was interested in keeping it around for some reason, but yeah, it's been there a long time. I stopped thinking about it, to be honest, as morbid as that sounds. Do you ask? Are you asking like Freddy and Atherd? I'm assuming Lawrence generally is like not paying attention, but you can definitely still ask them questions. But yeah, they're like, yeah, no, that body's just been there a long time. I strangely never thought to ask about it. I guess it's a buddy of y'all's. And then thinking that through, that doesn't make a lot
Did
of
they
sense.
miss the funeral?
No, they didn't. But it's one of those things that the facts are having trouble cohering as you're asking them questions about this. You can see that they're sort of puzzling to put together in their own mind. They're like, yeah.
Oh, this is like them kind of dizzy from the way this place works.
Yeah, they're addled. They're like they have facts that
Yeah.
are somewhat don't totally line up, but that obviously connect. Like, yeah, this body's been here forever.
Hey,
But-
can I ask something real
But
quick?
also, like when someone's like, yeah, it's just been there like as long as I can remember. Like one of them is like, well, they came and tried to and like to raid the compound the same way y'all did. They came to free some prisoners, I think, or to get some information or something. I don't know. They killed them. The master put them in the cell and kept their body around, but. So like even them trying to like agree on a timeline here is fuzzy and strange.
That's interesting. They kept the body. I feel like there's some sort of ritual reason for that. I wanted to kind of rewind back to something. I was like catching up on all my notes.
Oh,
But
sure.
so someone mentioned earlier why can't I remember how to say this?
Ticia.
Lunatica. Y'all said something about that lake house that has to do with Lunatica?
The temple at Lunatica? Yes.
Okay, that's the temple. Have y'all been there before?
It is of utmost importance to the master to access the temple. I've never been there. That was before my time. But whatever the master's goals are involve the temple of Lunatica.
Perhaps
Sounds
it
like-
was. I was just going to say, perhaps it was for the best that we didn't get to questioning the acolyte tonight. We'll have more poignant questions for him tomorrow. Point.
Agreed. Okay. Yeah, that's all I wanted to clear up.
Just to point back to the temple.
So where are you guys leaning towards? Because we could go to the wizard's tower, or we could go to the temple. The tower might have more info, but we don't know if they'll be friendly or not. But I feel like the temple's the main quest.
I figured we would hit the tower on the way to the temple.
The tower is a little bit out of the way. Well, as
They're
far as that
different
map is
direction.
concerned, yeah.
Regardless,
We're like in the middle, and we're like in different directions.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna talk about charting a course for tomorrow, it sounds like the settlement's real close, and then we can head to the wizard's tower and then like figure out what's going on with the temple. So I feel like we can see the human settlement and the wizard's tower.
oh wait, where's
Well-
the settlement?
Yeah, where's the settlement?
Isn't it in the
Okay,
hills
so-
just by us?
Yes, so there's a small farming settlement near, and Athert explains
they
that
got-
it's like subservient to the hill giants. The hill giants like basically use the people as like farm labor.
Yeah,
missed
it's like
that.
right south of that skull. It's not
Yeah.
really labeled, but that's where it is.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yes, we should. I would. Yeah, we should check. I guess. Or I mean, Azaram. I guess now that I think about it, has no like super ties to like being in a community like that. So like, I guess if you want to go stop by a farming village for some reason, sure.
It might be nostalgic of Thatchberry.
Yeah. No, not
And-
really.
I think it's important you see other towns.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, you know exactly though. That makes sense. Like, no, I think I've seen farming villages before. I've seen towns before. I don't think prime material towns have much to offer me at this point.
You've seen farming town.
Yes, you see one, you see them all, right?
No.
Gotta find out by going to another one.
Well, that
More
was how the
important-
other Thatchberry people regarded other farming villages.
This entire conversation is between Juya and Azaram with Nim perched
I was gonna
on
say-
Azaram's head as he is like seriously like, this is stupid. we don't need to go.
No, I was gonna say though, I will
Yeah,
end the connection like shortly before like everyone's settling down for bed.
Mhm.
I don't need to sleep, but you know, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is they're being subjugated by these hill giants, and surely that can't just be left
You're right.
to their devices.
You're right. Very well.
Last time we had anything to do with hill giants, I remember being pummeled into the ground. And
But we are much wiser now.
And we have
Yeah, that's
goons.
true.
And we have
Goons
goons.
aplenty.
Cannon fodder.
Incredible.
If we're talking about winding down, I definitely this whole time, oh, not this whole time. Damn, I forgot to say this earlier. I guess I'll do it now. I like go into the cart and like pull Harriet out, and I've had Harriet in my lap for like ever since we've been done trying to interrogate that guy.
For the podcast, that's the rabbit.
Yes,
when
our
you
rabbit
when you
Harriet.
go to find Harriet, you notice and immediately realize what happened. That Harriet's not in there. When you turn to Frederick and demand to know where Harriet is, he bashfully pulls Harriet out of kind of like his wizard robes. Back over.
Oh no, that's fine. Y'all can keep cuddling.
Dude, you keep like spinning a barrel on a gun against this rabbit's head to our perspectives. It is just something innocuous.
y'all
and
y'all
fine
either
in the
okay,
end.
well this is what I'll have to say about that. As a DM, y'all either trust Freddy or you don't. You need to figure something about
At this
about
point,
that.
I do. If Freddy is enamored by Fox right now and still had the time to care for like Harriet secretly, like carrying Harriet, then I trust Freddy.
Well,
At least
even then,
at the heart of things.
even then, before you told me it was Freddy, when you just said that Harriet was missing, I was like, "You leave this rabbit alone."
Well, if Freddy's that enamored with Fox, then I will take Harriet. So
That's
Harriet can get her nightly carrot munches as well
Oh
as
my-
my rats.
You feed all of
All the rodents.
yeah, the rodents, and all of that. You take inventory, get everything kind of squared away. Everyone has a sparse dinner, plenty of wine. Ginrick kind of just sleeps out on the bank of the little pond and gazes up at the night sky as the eclipsed sun just kind of dimly glimmers through the course of the night. A light wind causes some rippling on the surface of the pond, but overall the general atmosphere of this area is deeply calm. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, last thing, I definitely showed Julia the druid spell components and ask them if they know anything about them, like what kind of, if are they just like general druid spell components, or if it's like something that was being gathered for something specific.
They appear to be run-of-the-mill druid craft components.
Oh, thank you. I can definitely use these in this if you want them, Genrick.
Yeah, Ginrick would like them.
Okay, I give them to Genrick. I'm like, here.
He puts them in a
Roll your
little
eyes.
pouch on his
Fine.
I was gonna say utility belt, but you know what I mean.
Bat belt.
Batman utility belt.
Yeah. He's got pouches and tools and things. He's a rogue. He puts them with that, and he kind of tucks them away, and he thanks you.
Yeah. Sorry about your friend.
Yeah, he says, "Me too." And then you all call it for the night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
The next day passes without event as everyone is sort of kind of resting up, storing their magical energies, communing with higher powers, etc., etc. Light work. Ginrick makes breakfast and lunch for everybody. At some point in the day, you notice that he has spent the time and materials necessary to call back his familiar, which now sits perched like it tends to, either on the wagon cover or just on his shoulder, when he hasn't directed it to fly around or anything. And yeah, anything downtime wise, anything conversation wise, before whatever you decide to do at the end of this full rest?
Maybe take another crack at that leather working.
Yeah, go for it.
I am going to search for mushrooms to make a booch.
Get that SCOBY.
Boochie.
Yes, the hoochie boochie, and
You notice something important about how more expert leatherwork bindings and things hold together, and you definitely feel like you're close to mastering
The wallet.
the fundamentals of leatherworking. You think you could probably start working on real stuff soon.
Sick.
what are you making now, Fox?
Wallet too.
I'm just making arm strappies, just useless accessories.
Oh yeah.
But as long as they're like structurally sound.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, very
Mhm.
quick. I asked Genrick if he's got pen and paper.
Yeah. He keeps a bunch of parchment and has some ink and quills for kind of like script, and also he has other drawing and writing tools for like charcoal and stuff, just for quick jotting and things like
I
that.
going off my notes, I assume I know what day it is,
Hmm.
and I like tell him, and I'm like, I think you should start keeping track of a calendar while we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Um.
Is that like a technique that you do with people who are going senile?
Is it?
I don't know. That seems like it
It
would
does
be.
kind of seem like it.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm getting at. It's just like if you can't remember how long we've been here, then you need to start writing down.
He
Yeah,
says
it's
it
not
just
a
feels
bad
so
idea to start
long.
journaling.
You're right. You're right. I'll start that. And he yeah, he takes your advice to heart. Clearly, he takes some of his paper and journal materials. He used to be working on it every day when you were on your way to Sonottia, just kind of trying to work out through the spell components and the ritual that he was given, some of the math and all that. But he starts at it again. He kind of pulls out a fresh bound sort of journal and for light field notes and stuff, but just starts taking inventory of
He's gonna come
his
back
own
in,
mind here.
He's gonna come back in an hour and be like, "Did I forget to do this morning and yesterday?"
The
No.
You don't think it's that bad yet. You just think
Makes me sad.
he's a bit disoriented. That said, man, anybody, everyone's all rested, packed up. You, Ginner kind of comes to the group. He's like, whenever y'all are ready to leave, I'm ready to leave. But
Hold
I
on.
think maybe we shouldn't have come here, and we should just leave as fast as we can.
Does he mean Sonadia or just this place?
Sonat, yeah, you can tell he's talking about Sonatia. Like he's proposing he gives up entirely on his own personal quest here.
Okay.
He's like, if
I've no need to be in this part of the prime. I don't really desire it. As long as you continue to fund me, I will follow you.
he's like, yeah, well, whatever we find here, still y'all's. But I just I think I was stupid to leave the first time, and I think the damage is done. I don't have a lot of hope for if I keep digging.
Hey, we found one of your friends. We just gotta find the rest of them, and we can rest them. There's magic for it. It's something you can strive for, so don't lose hope.
Yes,
Roll
yes.
persuasion on him real quick. You can tell he hadn't really considered magical resurrection because that's such a
How much money have we gathered so far?
there's There is actually a parcel with that money. We rolled it last time, but I don't
Oh,
have the
I
number
have a
on
lot of the gems in my inventory
it.
for
Mhm.
some reason. So there's that too.
Yes, I've heard how the Prime treats the souls of the dead, bringing them back against their will. Yes, it's most fascinating. And an option, it sounds
Against
like.
their will. Nice little flourish there.
I'm talking about something else. Let's necromancy. I think.
No, yeah, you bring that up, and he's like, do you think we could achieve that? That's kind of like that's powerful stuff.
Is it? I thought it was a matter of monetary matters in this world.
It's a matter of 5th level spell slots.
Expensive components for those
Hey,
spell
and if
slots.
that doesn't work for you, Genrick, there's always vengeance.
Vengeance, good old fashioned. What do you say?
That wizard's still out here.
All of this does resonate, and he says, "You all have a point. I'll continue thinking on it."
Just know that I don't care where we are one way or another.
Yeah,
So bohemian.
you care a little in the sense that there's some eldritch nightmare thing that you now have as an enemy, but
Yeah, but that's mostly just, him grasping at straws, some familiarity to his past life. If
mhm.
it's not a portal that says limbo over it, then,
He says, "All right, well then let's figure something out with this acolyte, and then pick a point and walk that direction."
Oh, right, it's the next day. Fuck, shake your tuchus at the acolyte again.
Say no more.
You may touch it
Uh,
once.
Yeah, I'll go for it
Mm-hmm.
again. So he's gonna make that wisdom saving throw.
Is there anything we can do to make this wisdom save with disadvantage? Anything at all?
No, you can tell that this. Well, I don't know. Y'all think about it before I tell you the results. Are there any resources that you can use to somehow harm this acolyte's ability to succeed this throw?
Oh, shit. Can you like vicious mockery him before?
Lord.
Yeah, I don't
What
know.
kind of? This
Lord,
is like the
this-
dentist system. You just walk up and berate him, and then like try and seduce him.
Literally, if anyone has an ability that has disadvantage on the next saving throw they make.
What?
I don't think so. We're
Damn it.
just doing. Does anybody have spells that halt saving that disables saving throws? Or
Nope.
I'll find one eventually.
whatever? You try again. The acolyte is just continues to be unfazed and just looks at you and says, "There's nothing you can entice me with. I have seen beyond.
Good
There's-
for you. And I
There's
put the
nothing
gag
here
back
for
in.
me." Oh my god. Okay, cool. Well, you're gonna push this. Are you gonna push this further? Are you gonna try and get your information out of him any other way?
No, I'm ready to kill him.
No, we need to bring him to the toads because we did them dirty.
You're right. We do owe them a body.
Yeah. We have debt.
Yeah.
And I'm not even doing this to intimidate him. I'm doing it to get rid of him.
Oh my god.
Right. We'll
The
feed him to the
that's-
toads.
That's so funny. As you're all
I'll
packing
have
up,
that weight off my conscience, finally.
you okay. How do you approach
Well,
the
we say
pond
this.
or whatever?
Does anybody else have any objections, or is everyone okay with getting rid of this motherfucker?
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, you were on your phone.
Sorry, I got a bunch of messages all at once.
So, the dude, the acolyte passed his saving throw. He's not charmed by Fox. Corey was like, "All right, so what are y'all gonna do about this? Are you gonna like get more information out of him?" I said, "No, I'm ready to just kill him." And then Thinnery was like, "Well, we do owe the frogs a body. We kind of did them dirty." I'm like, "Oh yes, that has been weighing on my conscience for quite some time. We will feed him to the toads." This is not an intimidation tactic against him. This is just me stating facts. But
But
does anyone
is
else
an
have any objection?
intimidation roll being rolled anyway?
I don't want to.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
No,
I
I mean it's
I turned
happening.
to Matt because I think Matt is the most invested in this situation. I'm very indifferent to the point that like I just
Same.
want to refer to the people who seem to care and are invested in it the most.
Right now, it's
Well-
a majority thing.
So, I want to make it clear that the evil we're fighting is specifically this master, and this character is merely like he's a human being is being manipulated
Mhm.
by this evil deity.
Manipulated, yes, but also a willing tool at this point. You
Says the
think
voice
that if
in
you
your
were
head.
to give him entire range of control over his choices, he would choose to be a servant of this entity.
the- I don't think even so. I don't think killing is the right thing to do here, or at any point.
What do you think we should
You-
do with him?
I think we should you should give him. Let me judge them. Let me judge him.
How? If you're gonna swing your sword at their neck, and if they live, that they get to live, and if they die, they get to
Oh
die.
my god.
Yes.
All right.
Like trial by one-sided combat.
Oh my god.
Okay. I,
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit,
Oh
of
my God.
course.
Not again.
Of course.
okay, Corey. If
I
so
will
if
tell you
survive-
exactly what happens here, but go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I just okay. I cut him down. Let me know if he survives his life-saving throws
He does
or not.
No.
Clarify, she's like, y'all, I just meant like leave him at the pond, like leave his fate to the toads, not.
No, that would have been killing him. That would have been killing him, which would have been unjust. This is justice.
Oh my god. So you
I think when you
take
it's honorable, and I
Yeah.
do that in quotes.
it's at least a merciful death than like being ravaged by some toads, but
I am actually taken aback whenever he swings his sword, and I'm like, wait, what did you think was going to happen?
well, I'll tell you, well, hold on, I'll tell you all exactly how this whole scene plays out. So, you propose that you know, pass judgment in the authority of Tyr and leave, you know, the consequences of that judgment to the god of justice that you serve. When you bring the acolyte sort of to the pond, over to the pond bed in a ceremonial fashion, like this is in fact an execution, though ritualistically there is like the opportunity for a divine intervention here, theoretically speaking.
There always is.
Yes, but I mean, it is devised after, you know, this is a question for Tyr, right? And the outcome of the
Correct.
ritual is his answer.
He has death saving throws. You can make-
Yeah, he also is taking massive damage here. So just 1 second.
I'm like in shock as I feel like I put this judgment in your hands, and thinking you'd be merciful and would like have this perspective that Julia doesn't have, and then you're like,
wa-
this is how we'll
it
do
was
judgment,
quick.
and
it
then I
was
was like,
quick.
oh my god.
You
I
guys
didn't
are
see,
gonna
acolyte-
beat
like,
the
I didn't see
frogs.
this coming whatsoever.
The
guys are
acolyte
gonna
looks
feed
you.
him the
The
frogs.
acolyte looks you in the eye and tells you that your god is a corpse underneath the withering star. and you bring your sword down, and his head comes clean off.
Julia,
I was
in
I-
shock, Julia says, "Fuck, we forgot to ask him about the temple."
no, we tried. We
You
tried.
did try. You did try.
Oh, we
How
did. Okay.
Connecting to Trass's like burial ground, now becoming the site of like a
An execution.
execution.
It's a different area.
Yeah, it is a different portion of the pond. No one would have allowed this to happen.
We moved about a few yards down. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Everything
Look,
was
when I said,
tastefully
Are you
done.
going to judge him by swinging a sword into his neck? I was being witty, I thought.
I thought you were serious too.
I thought you were just.
That was just like good
No, I
idea.
was remarking.
Yeah, we do that over here
I
sometimes.
was remarking on your typical way of judging people, but here we are.
Uh,
Oh
We have
my
to dig another grave.
god, no.
Oh God, no.
no, that's
No.
fine, Piano.
This acolyte dies.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick,
uh-huh.
are the toads on the way
The
to
toads
the
are.
human settlement?
This thought crosses your mind when the acolyte's body slumps backwards and his head rolls into the lake. You notice a familiar set of globular sort of eyes peek above the surface of the water, nearer to the center of the pond, looking
Oh,
curiously
no.
outward.
Give
Oh
a
yeah,
little
that's right. I
wave.
don't speak Toad.
I don't speak toad right now either, and that's if I use the spell slot.
Well, kick the body in. Maybe they'll.
Yeah, I
like-
like
You
drag the
speak to
body
you have
over.
there's a ritual.
Yeah, it takes 10
it
minutes.
makes- So
I mean, last time it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and, y'all want to take a 10, and I'm gonna.
really.
I mean, I don't even think I need to do the thing. I'm just gonna like drag the. As much as I love Corey's roleplay for the toads, I'm just gonna like drag the body over and kind of like give it to them as like a, as like a sorry,
You
but
shrug.
we did good on the deal. Here's the guy. Here's a guy. I doubt they can remember the one they were promised.
The dirt guy.
Yeah, the dirt guy, the guy that tastes like dirt. That's right. They're too dumb to realize we swindled them.
No, we gave them a dude, but we felt bad.
You
Yeah.
gave them an illusion of a
The
dude,
dirt
and they
We gave
ate
them an
the dirt.
illusion, and they
Yeah.
ate the dirt.
So, the familiar set of eyes pops up. You can see slowly, curiously, the toad is drifting toward the coast, the shoreline, and peeks up above the water to kind of look at it. It's still ways out, and croaks loudly, and a bunch of other eyes kind of pop up above the water too, now gazing at the situation. Eventually, they all kind of converge and cautiously approach this corpse on the shore. And eventually they consume it. There's basically nothing left at the end of this whole situation. And then they kind of just hang around.
Bye.
Oh, is that our way to cross again?
Do we
Okay.
need to cross?
I guess you don't necessarily need to cross, but they seem to be like, I don't know. They're standing there.
All right. I mean, yeah. I mean, side quest finished.
Yeah.
Let's
We, like,
go.
Clean up that loose end. If we don't have to cross to get to that human settlement, then we can just go another way.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if y'all want me to take 10 minutes to do a ritual just so I can like clear the air, I would love to do that, but
You seem like you really want to, so please.
okay. I do my ritual and y'all got 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
and-
the
I relax. Finally rid of that fucking acolyte. Oh.
everyone else is just getting all their stuff together. The toads start talking to you again. They're like, "Oh, I didn't think you'd be back."
Oh yeah. We're gonna be around here. But I just figured y'all would appreciate this guy since we're such we're good pals.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna be further down the river.
What do you mean by that?
That's what you said last time. You told me a parable about something with scorpions and toads, I don't know. And then you said he helped you cross. You'd meet us a couple days later, further down the river, and give us a reward.
Am I the only one that has no memory of this?
I don't know.
None of
What you're talking
none
about.
of you know what he's talking about.
Are you?
There's somebody else who's toad walked.
There's another toad.
Toad walkers. There's toad walkers. What else did I tell you last time?
Yeah. What did it look
Uh,
like? What did it tell you?
He did the thing. He started speaking a real language instead of that other jibber jabber y'all two-leg things do. You wanted to cross. We said my pond. You said you could give us something really delicious, but that you needed some time to go get it. And it was in a cave across the river. And then you'd be back with a reward if we let you cross. And we said, well, how do we trust you? And he said, well, how do I trust you? And then he told us the parable. And then he crossed. And then he gave us a dirt guy. And now we're here. And he gave us a real guy.
A dirt guy.
Yeah, we
Okay,
gave-
this guy's also losing it because of this place. Can I
Toad.
roll intuition? Because
Uh-huh.
I'm so lost. I'm like trying, like, parts of this is parts of this I remember doing, and then parts I'm like, this is not me. Was it? Can you tell me? God damn it.
What you just said to me is exactly how you feel. Like you very clearly recognize parts of this story, others you do not. You do know
Oh,
that
shit.
he did mention you telling him a parable last time that you did not tell him.
Are we going
Hey,
crazy?
I go to Genrick, and I'm like, Tress? Did Tress like to say parables?
Yeah. He had a lot of, he was kind of like Azaram like that. Had a lot of sayings and stuff. One of those things you just kind of get used to.
Like one about scorpions and toads.
Yeah, something about, like, you know, not backstabbing each other, I think. But that parable usually ends bad, I think. I don't remember. I didn't pay much attention. I kind of wish I did back then.
Huh. These toads know Tress as well. Is it Tress? Am I getting it right? Finally?
Trass.
Tress.
But, yeah.
Jesus.
What do you mean?
They seem to be confusing me and your druid friend. And this place is weird.
That very much that's like super intriguing to him. He's like, what they what do you mean confusing you two? Like he thinks
Trass
talking to
has
Trass?
talked to these toads before and told them a parable and promised them something delicious when they crossed in the past. And they seem to think I told them that. But they still remember our last run-in.
he's like he's like trying to puzzle it out, but he's got all the same information as you. So he's like, so they were, does that mean, I guess then, that Trask probably came the same way we came?
And he never came back, but I think we kind of know why.
Yeah.
I go back to the toads, and I'm like, how long ago did I tell you the scorpion parable?
Like 2 days ago? Just saw you.
Was this after the dirt guy?
Same guy.
What?
All the other toads are like, yep, same guy, same dirt guy.
Do you remember the scorpion parable I told you?
Yeah, it's like the real one in real life. It's like the scorpion and the toad. The toad asks the scorpion asks the toad to ferry him across the river, but it's like in the scorpion's nature to sting. So there's like a mutual assurance, like, how do I know you won't sting me? Well, then we'll both drown, that type of thing.
Gotcha.
So it was like a cautionary tale, like, don't betray me, because then we're both gonna get owned. And that's the parable, apparently, that that they incorrectly and
they Rickyism it to me,
yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Okay, but I know what parable they're talking about. 'cause
yeah.
There is just no
recognize it.
parables.
It's the same
more
one
than
in.
I
It's
do.
the same one they reference in Drive. In real life.
Yeah. Scorpion jacket.
Drive
So,
is
lastly,
Drive.
I'm gonna do a survival check.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was so close to a 20. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah.
I asked someone who was a better druid than I, hey, can y'all look around for any sort of tracks or footprints that aren't ours? I
Ooh.
basically looked to see if maybe this druid actually was here 2 days ago.
Survival.
Yeah.
I got a 7, and I'm like looking at my own footprints and like following them in a circle.
I think that circumstantially you should just take advantage on that anyway, Burial, because that was, I think, a very clever bit of intuition.
I'll go for it. Are you kidding me?
That is
Oh,
so
man.
insane. That is like the second time that this has happened. I was just watching a clip from like a long time ago when this happened to Azaram on an intimidation check.
I'm about to start busting out real die. But anyways,
Honestly, I want to use real dice.
That said, you do find traces of a single traveler coming up the way that y'all came, separate from your own footprints and everything.
how old would I estimate this? I asked Fenry, like, hey, how old do you think these tracks are? Because Fenry has a better track record. A better track record tracking.
Oh yeah, this is my preferred.
Yeah, you have advantage in this terrain.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna headbutt this microphone if it was another 2.
No, you yeah, okay. What would this look like? So they appear, I mean, it's a single traveler on foot. So it's not like heavy disruption of the soil or the grass or anything. So it shouldn't last that long. That said, it looks weirdly old. But in the same way that the land and the soil itself seems still and stagnant. Like almost any impression would have been left there for a long time if it were left undisturbed. So
Wait, sorry, can you repeat that?
yeah,
It was not
basically
undisturbed?
it's not the kind of track that would last any amount of time under normal conditions, under normal circumstances, because it's a single traveler on foot. But just the general atmosphere, the environments, the way that they are kind of stagnated and almost like that kind of oppressive stillness that y'all feel in Sonottia. It almost seems like if you were to like leave even the slightest indentation on something, as long as nobody else messed with it, it could stay there indefinitely.
Oh, okay. So I'm definitely inferring that this is just how this place is.
Yeah.
These are fresh tracks, but every piece of track is going to feel fresh.
Or at least
Because
like
right now,
indeterminate
Julia's
might be
mind-
better. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Julia's mind right now is like, okay, so is this place a fucking vacuum? Which I know isn't a correct term, but like, is it just like, which goes along with the energy that's happening here, or is this place just like a temporal fucking fold, and was he actually here 2 days ago?
Hmm.
That's like a question for myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an important question. You don't think you necessarily have the tools to determine based on the tracks, but it is clear that somebody, and most likely Trass, given everything you just uncovered, came through this way, conversed with these toads, made even a similar deal, went to the cave, and that's where you found Trass.
It's like footprints on the moon. Like they're not going away.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Jesus. All right,
Could it have
I
been
don't-
that bird that we saw? Perhaps. Wait, does that make sense?
How so?
The what?
So there's that crow?
There was a crow, yes, that was kind of
Think it's
chilling
the
on y'all's
wizard.
cart yesterday, but it flew away, and you haven't seen it since.
I think that might have something to do with the wizard, but Azaram has no reason to believe that, so I don't know.
Can't figure out if the timeline
Um,
matches or not.
I catch everybody up with like the fucked up thing I just realized.
Could you?
I'd say these are definitely Trass's tracks, or someone's tracks, from 2 days ago, from what seems like recent tracks, but there's no way, because we all saw his body.
Okay. I accept this information, and I will hold on to it. I don't know what to do with it. But I
Me
will hold on
neither.
to it.
You recall that there were tracks that you were following immediately upon entering Sonottia, and they verged west, but that you opted to go east instead, but that those tracks too had a similar quality where it's like whoever made these, like, they're like fresh in the sense that they're undisrupted, but the time, the way the atmosphere interacts, all those things make it difficult to determine what exactly the timeline was. So this isn't the first time you've encountered kind of strange tracks of this nature.
Corey, if this guy's a druid who could talk to toads, why didn't they like animal shape into a bird or something and fly over the pond, the swamp?
Good question.
I don't think that y'all did that either, huh? But that is a good question.
The mystery deepens.
Well, you can only wild shape for so long, I guess. I don't know. It is a little tacky to always be wild shaped amongst druids. Just so you know.
it's we don't do that. We don't just
Well, he could have been carrying something.
True. Okay, I'm thoroughly confused and ready
but
to.
hopefully interesting.
Yeah, I just can't tell if it's like, okay, either we're gonna like start losing it because of the way this place works, or we're just gonna like run into historical figures, and it's gonna. It's one or the other.
Well, that is unless you want to go back the way you exactly came, you don't need to cross the Toad Bridge. But the toads seem to be kind of like you made good on your promise, which you sort of did, in that you gave the body back out of guilt for giving him the dirt guy. But you seem to have also fulfilled another promise made by somebody else.
An oath.
And they seem to be fine because both of those things are the same thing to them, and the toads are now completely
Are
impartial
they
to y'all.
totally happy?
They're totally, yeah, they're totally cool with y'all.
What say y'all? Y'all ready to write some toads again, or do you want to go a different way?
So from the overall hex map where you are, you know that there is sort of to the direct west, a kind of hilly forested region. You are about half a day south from the. Here, let me show this map again. half a day south from the cave mouth, and the path that you took to get here is still on the map, or should be. That kind of dotted purple line. Lilac, whatever color you want to call it, light purple.
I'm cool with
So
just
travels up to y'all,
heading west.
heading west to check out the skull.
Yeah, and the settlement where Athard's from, and getting those people out from Giant Thumb.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a point. None of us know how to speak giant.
True.
I want to ask the NPCs if any of them happen to speak giant by chance.
Athard can speak some. Says they have to, at least. But he says you pick it up.
Thank goodness. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, cool beans. So you have 2 hexes of travel at the end of the day, because you started kind of resting at noon, so a full day would be noon to noon. Your long rest is complete, side quests wrapped up, etc., etc. Back to traveling. So Henry resumes her position at the helm of the cart.
Okay, and are we at the and Gendrick is where we're at. Okay.
Yeah, Ginrick is in the holding the reins in the passenger seat of the whatever passenger, up in the front, up in the driver's carriage with you. It's kind of just a long bench, and there's 2 horses on reins on the yoke or whatever of the thing. And
So we're just gonna head west then. Dunk, dunk.
ooh, northwest. That's back the way you came.
Oh damn it! Oh sorry. Okay.
Did you hit left and it took you up or something?
No, I just don't understand directions.
Oh.
Would you
We're going northwest?
No, we're just west.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yes, west. Okay, now go ahead and roll.
That's some harp. Nice.
Okay.
In the music.
You travel through some familiar stretches of forestry. You even come along where you recognize your own path to have taken you up the first time. You get a distinct sense of deja vu as the night comes over you, because you were traveling at night here too. Roll perception checks across the board.
Dang.
Henry is a space cadet.
It tracks.
Fox is inside the wagon.
Fox always fucks up perception checks. Like, always.
It's actually true. I've been thinking about it. We were joking about it. The mask. Yeah.
You're just looking at your mask from the inside.
Julia, you are kind of, as I was describing, everyone sort of gets this feeling of deja vu. You are looking up at the night sky as the sunlight behind the eclipse dims, and you are struck by just a very odd but certain recollection that the clouds tonight from this angle where y'all are driving are the exact same formation as when you were looking up at the sky at this point in the night the last time you were here.
No, hate it.
Oh hell. I'm
Wait,
like, hey, look at the clouds.
What?
You're like, oh, cool. Sorry, what?
Does anybody have a watch?
No.
Is the zebra on?
What about the beer?
The beer is fine. It's normal. As far as it can It's what it was like yesterday.
Nope. So I'm like, hey, look at the clouds, and I imagine y'all like, okay, yeah, druid. But I'm like, no, seriously, like that's exactly how the clouds looked like when we were here last time. I remember it was shaped like a bear.
You like describe the different kinds of clouds and like what they
Yeah.
are like in the cycle of water, whatever the fuck that's called, perspiration cycle. And you're like, yeah, this cloud was here, it's coming from this, it's right in the wind here, you know, there's a shore over there, blah blah blah. You like go into the like the ecology of it, the meteorology and stuff, and everyone's like, okay. But yeah, it's strikingly the same. Like you have no doubts that it's the same.
Finry's super distressed about this. She asked if Nim will come hang out and make her feel better.
Nim is just like,
Are the clouds moving?
yeah.
Do they move when we stop?
How do you mean?
You know
Like, do they
exactly
seem
what he
like they're
means.
moving because we're moving? But like, not like, oh, if we move, we'll see the clouds move. But what I mean is, do they move a certain direction?
Yes.
Like if we're walking forward, they go left, but if we start walking backwards, they start rewinding.
No, they don't start. They don't start rewinding. They don't start.
Okay, I'm trying to. I'm just, you know,
I'm here with you.
experimenting.
Azaram's not, but I'm here with you.
What in the world? I said that ain't right. Man.
That sky ain't right.
Somebody right with that guy.
Oh my god. As you are all kind of like cloud gazing, setting up for the night, y'all have watch orders, right? Established already? For like the
Mhm.
nighttime?
Yeah, we
Okay,
just
cool.
ordered some watches since we don't have
Nice.
any.
Do we have a watch? Blah blah blah. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure that was all squared away. Yeah, you spend your time, I guess, puzzling over this. Everyone else sets up camp as normal.
I just want to bring something I just remembered. Did we ever use our rest to identify those magic items? 'Cause I
Oh
wanna
yeah,
do
that you
one of those.
totally know what they are. So they
Okay,
are. I wrote this down. There are
Not
beads
then
of.
we can do it now.
There are beads of force. 6 of them. 2 superior healing potions. You got 10 flasks. Well, sorry. There are 5 remaining flasks, I believe, of alchemist fire. Because 5 of you threw.
It was the horseshoes that I don't think we knew what they did.
So Matt, do you spend? Yeah, you do. You spend your
Yes.
time identifying the horseshoes that Azaram handed to you. They appear to be horseshoes of Zephyr. I can tell you what they do, or you can look them up. Basically,
I
they
remember-
make your horse good.
thing that floats off the ground.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they
Oh, man, the quickness wants those. Sucker.
That's a
I
Poseidon's
believe they
sky horse shit.
increase Patricia's base movement speed, and also she hovers like a few inches off the ground, so she
Oh.
doesn't leave tracks or
And she
trip
can,
things.
can march 12 hours a day instead of 8.
That's true.
That makes sense because it's like non-stressful aerobics, kind of like swimming.
Mm-hmm. So you can absolutely fix those to Patricia. The 6 beads of force can be dispersed however y'all would like.
I'll
There-
hang on to him.
Okay.
That's okay.
2 superior healing potions, and then just the GP, the gems, and the 5 remaining. Or maybe 4. Did y'all all threw an alchemist fire? Did you give one to Ginrick?
I think it was just the 5 of us.
Okay, cool. Then 5 left, and then the gems. Those are the magic items you got.
Corey, could you do parcel stuff?
Yes. I'll go ahead and I think I started making, but it was a big crazy thing after the dungeon, so bead of force. That's not real. This. Yeah, I can work on it. So what are y'all up to tonight? Any downtime activities you want to
How
pursue?
far are we from the village?
Atherd estimates this is, well, first it's slower going through the hills, but no more than a full day's travel if we aim right, maybe 2. Up a little bit to the he says like west by northwest from here. Looking over Thinry's
How long?
photography.
Finry's gonna study her own map and like directions, because despite her impeccable tracking, she doesn't understand north, south, east, and west.
Oh my. West by northwest means wester than northwest. Just 6 of these. Surely wrote down the gold. Absolutely did. Did I delete that parcel?
Corey, I'm gonna be meditating on the guy I executed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anything in particular that you're seeking guidance or meditation about?
I'm trying to focus on the moment when like my hand just kind of moved towards his neck miraculously.
Miraculously.
Trying to-
You understand that in situations like this where the person is unrepentant, even if you are an extension of Tyr's judgment, sometimes that judgment is final. There was really nothing you gather here, at least. You don't see anything for Tyr to redeem, right? They were a person hell-bent both on your harm and unrepentant toward the evil deeds they had done. So, in light of that, it may be tragic and sad, but according to the rites and customs that you followed, you besieged Tyr's judgment, and this is the consequence of that.
I find peace in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't, yeah. You definitely don't think, you think that compassion is a virtue, but that in this case, there are more deserving people for it, at least. And that if they're, life and death are on the line, that, sometimes these things are unavoidable.
Yeah.
What am I looking for? There we go. Anybody else doing stuff tonight? While I put out this parcel?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and make a new pouch for those druidic components that Gindrick has. Because it was like rotting and worn or whatever, so.
Totally. Yeah.
Hey!
Fucking incredible. Yeah. Your perception was bad because you were focused on this. Yeah, you find that this project has some purpose for you, and if only because of that, the investment there, you're like completely tuned to the task, and you find yourself to be equal to it. You manage to, over the course of the night, create a pretty nice, functional, professional looking pouch. I'd absolutely say that you have proficiency in these tools at this point.
Sick. I'm gonna next project is mending that studded leather.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
So for proficiencies, you can totally put them on your character sheet as well from now on. And now you just roll that. Oh right. Alchemist fire. Looking for. What is Alchemist fire? Oh, it's on. There we go. There was gold and stuff, right? Does anybody happen to write the gold amounts down when we rolled that? Is that in the Discord chat anywhere?
I don't think so.
I
Who grabbed all the? You grabbed the money, didn't you?
Skill shadow puppets? What's Matt
Shadow shadow puppets.
doing? You do them pretty impressively. Are you like pantomiming Beowulf or something onto the?
Yeah, I got my dog.
You're doing shadow puppets. The Atherd finds it really entertaining.
Thank you.
These are 10 GP gems. I don't know how to get the gems in here. I will add those to y'all's inventory separately. I swear to God, there was someone rolled on the dungeon table. Maybe it's in my DMs. I will check. Looks like I lost the gold amount, so I will have to re-roll that for you. But I thought it was jotted down by somebody. My bad. I'll go ahead and add this to the party sheet. Look at that. Inventory. Oop. I also need to add experience to. So yeah, we will drop that in. No items. Oh, yeah, I'll have to assign them yourselves. Right. Okay, the parceled items are in there. I can distribute them whenever. Everyone makes camp. Who is first watch?
I think I am.
Is anybody else with you?
No, because it's like I'm Thinry's first watch, and then there's double ups in the middle, and then I think Matt ends it, right?
No, I end it.
Oh, Julia ends it, yeah.
Azaram's awake the whole time now. And
Yeah,
that's me.
I never sleep. No
That's
one needs to
true.
watch like I'm not the most perceptive, but I don't need to sleep.
You're at least you're basically now like whoever's on watch, you're like their wingman.
Yeah.
Awesome.
God, there is no escape.
I mean, I can give people privacy if they want it. Jeez.
Matt or Azaram is actually kind of a scary character to me.
Why?
Just intense at this point. Just there's so much creepy psionic like weirdness. It's like I never sleep. I'm coming to hunt you now. Like I like it. I like it. It's just a very
I like
intimidating
how-
personality.
I don't know. I've obviously when you make a character, you learn about them as you play them. I like to think of it that Thatchberry like really smoothed out his edges.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was the best like human he could be while he lived in Thatchberry. You know, he helped their community. They didn't
But
have
we're
many
not in
enemies. He was,
Thatchberry anymore.
nice guy. But yeah, now he's being pulled back into honestly more normalcy, which is not having a normal. Like, just sort of
Mm-hmm.
being thrust from strange situation to another is uh comforting for him, to be honest.
Oh my gosh. Just yeah, this is insane. Like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll perception checks for the first watch then. Azaram and Thinry. You notice nothing
How's your nap
abnormal.
coming?
Though Thinry, you remember do you do you remember, this was several weeks ago now. I commented that as you passed over past some of the hills, you heard like loud, distant, rumbling voices somewhere on the horizon. You hear
Yeah.
that again.
Those hill giants are out there.
We're gonna run into them eventually.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about that?
Have Atherd talk to
Talk to them about what?
We don't want to hurt you, says the little people.
So we're gonna have to fight some giant.
I mean, you can maybe negotiate.
I'm talking to Thenry.
Oh, sure. My bad.
Maybe. I don't know. Do they still sound pretty far off?
Yeah, they sound very distant. A similar distance. You weren't in the same place as the last time you heard it, but it's a similar distance and a similar sound.
Yeah.
To what
She tells Azrael not tonight. But yeah, probably. But it's fine. We got Matt. He'll just chop him in half.
Matt's like,
I roll over. In my sleep.
We will send them to be judged by someone above his pay grade, I presume.
What's a pay grade?
Planner talk.
Mm.
I'll teach you some Sigillian cant sometime.
Oh, have you been to Sigil, or are you just familiar with the?
Probably at least familiar with at least some of the way people talk who've traveled around the plains.
Sure.
In Sigil or wherever.
You pick up. You're familiar with Sigil lingo.
I wouldn't call myself clueless. I'll leave it at that.
That sounds real cool. I've heard of pay rates, but not grades.
I'll teach you one. Do you use the word barmy on this world?
Barney?
Barmy.
Barmy?
Oh yeah, you make beer out of barley.
No. I turn over my shoulder back to the bedrolls at camp. Barmy with an M. It means one who's crazy, lost their mind.
Oh, nice.
Now I can.
Nice
Use that
pull.
word.
Yes. If you ever see someone staggering up to you and they've obviously lost their wits, you could say, "Hey, pike off, you barmy Burke," and they'll get the point.
Then he like pulls out a little notebook. She's like, pike off, you barmy.
Burke. B-E-R-K. It's what it sounds like.
Oh my gosh.
Word.
It's a 4-letter word. You have many of those on this world, I've heard.
You've also heard them.
I
There
just want to
we
make
go, there
small
we go.
talk with everyone during their watch.
You're like, oh, well, here's a drawback to being awake all the time I didn't think about. Yeah, so over the course of the watch, eventually Thinry is done with her watch, and it's whoever's next in the rotation.
I wake up.
I pat the dirt next to me.
So, both of you, for second watch, I'll need perception checks. Oh, Fox, was that a 7 again?
Oh no! Oh wait. Oh. Okay.
I turn to Matt. So, how do you feel about today?
Mixed emotions.
Drea said something about the clouds, and for some reason, I'm just very fascinated with them right now. I've just been staring at them the whole night.
Yes, I'll admit I don't really pay attention to their patterns, though they do remind me of home a bit.
Um,
I mean, I can't see the clouds because they're real dark, but it would stop me from squinting real hard.
oh my gosh.
Hey, the darkness reminds me of home as well.
Uh,
The
do
darkness.
they
Oh,
do
where
they
are
have
you? Hmm?
do they have nighttime where you're from?
No.
No.
Well, that all depends on having a heliocentric viewpoint, but that's beyond the scope of what I feel like talking about. Where are you from?
I'm, I'm from the underground.
Underground. Oh, I always thought there was too much ground above it. I can't imagine living down there.
It, it, we, you kind of have to. You can't. When there's no place for you anywhere else, that's where you gotta go.
I hear that. That's the only reason my people are where they are.
Uh,
Oh my god. Loving it.
so, so where are your people? Where?
Lim-
How do they live? Th-
Difficultly. Always having to tax the minds of our most wise and powerful to maintain the physical manifestations of the strongholds that we keep in the plane of limbo. It's a rather arduous task, but we make do.
Um,
Sounds like a headache.
Yeah.
Limbo boys make do.
the make do. Did you just see the
Yes.
make do meme recently or something? I'm like
No,
plagued
it's
by
just
this now.
it's just on my mind.
I
Got it
can-
on my brain.
You got that nasty piece of corn on your brain.
You did bring up corn again, but corn is always on my mind.
That's fair.
Always. Got my corn pen ready to go.
Um,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Corn. Got you.
The
Thought
best
it was
crop.
the band.
as you all just kind of make small talk through the second shift of the night, eventually you hear just a ruckus and a scream coming from one of the tents, from where Lawrence was,
What do you
around
mean?
Lawrence and Atherd and those people had set up in the camp.
I sigh and roll my eyes.
It is not a scream you sigh and roll your eyes at.
Well,
It is,
and yet.
and yet, everyone is alert as suddenly the scream is cut brutally short and the night returns to silence.
Oh, good. I settle back down. No, I get up. We get up and we run over.
Everyone can roll perception.
Corey,
I
do the
w-
animals freak out, or have we tied them down?
Ye-
Let me see.
the animals do freak out at that sound. Fox, you notice something in the tree line moving, like it looks like somebody hunched over at first, but there's something wrong. There's too many limbs. A pair of gleaming eyes you see catch the light for a second, before this figure kind of like skulks quickly into the darkness again. It's not gone, but it's out of your sight.
Yikes.
I know someone had asked if we could end a little earlier or try to. This will definitely be
It's a good spot.
a whole scene. We can pick up here next time if y'all like.
This is a great spot to leave off.
Yes,
That
Yeah.
sounds good.
Are
absolutely.
we all awake at the end of this? Just so we know where we're at.
Yeah. We can parse that out too. The shift that is currently up has been alerted, so I think the only people that are technically not awake right now are Gia. You went to sleep, but you can be waking up, and Ginrik's asleep, and then I guess whoever's on the third shift or whatever. And
if
that will be where we pick up next time.
Yeah, and this is like
Cool.
the second night in a row that we've had some rest, so we're all full.
Yeah,
100%
you're
at our
firing on
capability.
100. Yeah, firing on all cylinders, feeling 100%.
Nice.
Good stopping point.
Awesome.
That's a fun session. Very role play centric. We didn't have a single combat. I love sessions like that.
Yeah, it had been a minute, and after the lair was such a slog, I felt it was fine to to pace it out in this
And
one.
obviously we needed it. Like we had a lot of stuff we needed to get to after
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for anyone viewing, thanks for stopping by. We'll be back again next week as always. Gonna go ahead and stop the stream, but good night and have a good one. Yeah, awesome. I had a good time. I like when y'all are chewing on the perplexing stuff going on.
My favorite moment, my favorite moment tonight was Matt saying, "So do you got night where you're from?" And Azrael's like, "No." Matt just like, "Oh."
No, it's great. That's incredible. Like, cause what the fuck? But it's like totally a reasonable question, and that's a true answer. It's just absurd dialogue. I loved it.
No, one of my favorite moments was whenever Corey was like, "That feeling you have right now, take that. That is what Julia's feeling."
Yeah.
Wait, which part was this?
When
Whenever
you were
you-
like, I can't tell if this is happening to me or if this happened, if they're confusing other people, and you like rolled insight to see
you
if
were
like they were
finding out that
confused,
Oh,
and
the
you
druid
rolled low,
had
and I was
been here
like,
before.
that's
I
it.
just, yeah, the synthesis between me and Julia, just like, yep, we're just in the same boat right now.
You phased on top of each other. Okay, I'm
Oh
gonna
my
hit stop
God.
recording on this bad boy too, but we can obviously still.
Thanks for